Hello, good morning to you and welcome to the AM show. Wherever you are, it's a beautiful morning, promising a beautiful day. Of course, you need to start your day with positivity. I always say, as the Holy Book even tells us, a man is who he thinketh he is. So who do you think you are? What fills your thoughts? Are they negative or they are positive? Whatever you think about, you are able to achieve. So if I were you, I would choose to be positive today. Instead of filling my mind and my thoughts with a lot of negative thoughts about life and about people, I'd rather fill it with positivity about life and about myself. So am I winning? I'll say, yes, I am winning. Am I healthy? I'll say, yes, I'm healthy. Am I on the right path? I'll say, yes, I am. Am I in good terms with my Almighty or my Creator? I'll say, yes, I am. And I tell you what, once you do that, it opens up your creativity. You're able to conceive more ideas and conceive ways to plant those ideas on the soil. So this morning, start it right. Start on a positive note and stop downgrading yourself or looking down on yourself. Fill your minds with positive, because positivity is what you need for the day. Let me run you through how the day will go. We'll bring you AM News. Denasia Paul-Adom-Otchere will bring you that one. We'll bring you then, after the news, AM Sports, and then News Review segment takes off. Today, we're bringing you a special seasoned journalist and politician, Paul Adom-Otchere, will be joining us for breakfast today. We'll review the news and discuss pertinent issues of national interest. So what are the issues you want to discuss with Paul Adom-Otchere? Join us on social media and leave your comment there. And then to our big stories, we'll bring you a conversation on all you ought to know about the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. We have the Director General, Dr. James Kluche-Aveji, the former chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, right here in the studios of Joy News. Then we join up the board up to the grand finale of the NSMQ happening in Cape Coast this afternoon between Giant, St. Augustine's, Mfantsipim, and Opoku-Ware. You don't want to miss a thing about this NSMQ. So join the conversation with your views and thoughts via phone and all our social media handles so that we can share our thoughts on what's happening. You would have to stay with us from now to 10 a.m. as we feed you breakfast, or we serve you breakfast. Thank you for allowing us into your chambers, into your corners, wherever you are. We are grateful. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace, and as always, I do this with Mmefa Akusia Adeti. As we say in my homeland language, or my home language, you say, Yelawasi Kavo Mashiniba Dakashi, Kozo and Cry, Yinibaba, Yelebra. Good morning. Stay with us.
Hello, good morning, and welcome aboard to AM News. My name is Denasia Paul-Adom-Otchere. In our very first story, President Mahama has expressed optimism that Ghana will in the next 2 years have the best roads in West Africa as a result of the Big Push initiative. Speaking at a sword-cutting ceremony for the upgrading and rehabilitation of the 195-kilometer Wenchi-Bole Solar Road under the program, the president lamented that despite over 2,000 vehicles using the road daily, it had been allowed to deteriorate, extending travel time between Wenchi and Solar to as long as 8 hours. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbekpa has more in the following report.
Ghana Highway
The president has already cut sword for the Big Push road projects in the Greater Accra, Western and Volta regions. Speaking at a sword-cutting ceremony in the Savannah region, he said that upon completion, travel time from Wenchi to Wa will be reduced by more than 50%. He also directed contractors working on the project to prioritize the use of local labor. The president expressed optimism that Ghana will have West Africa's best roads within 2 years under the Big Push initiative.
And I wish to repeat my apology and regrets to the people of Ghana that with the start of Big Push, the whole of Ghana is going to be a construction site for the next 2 years. Wherever in this country you go, roads will be being constructed. And so I ask Ghanaians to be patient with us and to accept the inconvenience, because 24 months after the launch of the big push, you will have the best roads in West Africa. For the past few years, this strategic artery has been allowed to deteriorate. Potholes, failed pavements, and broken drains have made travel difficult and hazardous. The vehicle operating cost on this road has risen by nearly 40%. And travel time just between Wenchi to Sola and Wa can take up to 8 hours.
The president earlier was at the commissioning of the Damongo prison camp constructed by the Church of Pentecost, where he said the Ghana Prison Service is being supported to undertake large-scale farming, including poultry and vegetable production. He says as part of comprehensive prison reforms, his administration is working to complete the 800 inmate capacity remand prison at Nsawam.
In agriculture, the prison service is being supported to engage in large-scale farming, including poultry and vegetable production. The government is providing fertilizer and mechanized equipment to improve productivity over the next 3 years. And so the prison service is going to receive agricultural tractors and implements so that they can activate their prison camps.
And still in the region, Wa West MP Superintendent retired Peter Lanchene Tobu has assured his constituents of government's commitment to creating decent jobs for the unemployed youth. He described rising youth unemployment as a national security threat and also revealed plans to secure financial clearance for recruitment into the security services, education and also the health sectors, particularly for nurses. He made the remarks during a meeting with chiefs and residents of Wichau and Dorimon.
The purpose of the meeting was to listen to the development challenges they are facing with a view to attracting the attention of central government for them to be solved. Superintendent retired Peter Lanchene Tobu was listening to their challenges, also used the opportunity to inform them about ongoing projects and programs initiated by the government with particular emphasis on the Wa West district. His first point of call was at the Wichau Palace. Accompanying him was the Wa West District Chief Executive, Richard Wulu, and members of the Wa West District Security Council. Chief of Burungu, Na Alhaji Osman, articulated the concerns of the Paramount Chief of Wichau, Na Imurunanda Ngoma, calling for intervention from the government.
The road network within the district is quite terrible, and we would plead with the system or the government to help us get a very good road network that will enable businesses to thrive very well. The chiefs were given some allowances some time back, but for quite some time now, he says he has not heard of anything, whether from local government or from his assembly.
Superintendent retired Peter Lanchene Tobu had his response.
Wa West, by the end of 2028, is going to see a facelift. We've aligned many of the development projects that are coming up. His Excellency the President has assured us that big push is coming. He's assured us that the TVET school in Ga is coming. He's also assured that the Doromo E block will be completed and repackaged actually to become a full boarding school. These are all very good news. And he's also assured us that the connectivity to the national grid will be improved upon. And I'm sure all of you heard me in Parliament when I asked a question, and the Minister for Energy and Green Transition gave assurance that he was going to add 45 new communities to the already connected ones. And that will bring us to an average of about 50%. We still have a long way to go, but at least one step at a time.
His last stop was at Dormo for same purpose with slightly different challenges. Leading the charge was the Paramount Chief of Dormo, Na Alhaji Seri Tungban Selembele, who placed an outright ban on illegal mining in the traditional area.
For illegal mining, it is a no for me and my chiefs. It's a no for me and my chiefs. The MP, the DC, and your predecessor, they will bear witness. Anytime I hear that there's illegal mining somewhere, I make a call. Say, direct your security men there to go and drive them away. So I was so excited when MP mentioned that there will be a way out. This responsible mining, that the young men can engage in it so that we don't degrade our environment.
Natungban Selembile wants a quick completion of the Dolomo E block.
We started something, Dolomo Senior High. It is dying off. Nobody wants to send their children there because it's not attractive. We are Dolumba, but we don't want to send our children there because it's not attractive. So another appeal, a very serious appeal to the Honorable MP and the DC, that the E-block that he has spoken about, we are so excited, but we want you people to put more fire. When it is finished, we get government to absorb it. It will be automatic posting of placement of students. When they post there and they see that the place is attractive, they will come.
The West Legislature assured the chiefs and people of government plans to stop illegal mining through the introduction of responsible cooperative mining and skills development program and the creation of jobs for the sea of unemployed youth in the country.
The military have started recruitment. Those who are qualified should apply. And very soon, all the other security services will start recruitment. If you are qualified, and I'm sure that we'll get a lot of young boys and girls who will join these security services. The teachers, I'm sure very soon, with financial clearance, will be recruiting teachers for the Ghana Education Service. We'll be recruiting nurses for the health sector. And gradually, all our young people who have completed school and they are so frustrated, believing that there is no hope. President John Dramani Mahama says, hope is here. You will get jobs. But please put up your best and ensure that the discipline that is required to develop this country will continue to be our core value.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam. Watch out.
From the Upper West region, let's head back to Accra. The NDC and the NPP MPs have traded blames over which party fueled illegal mining the most. Delivering a statement on Galamsey menace on the floor of Parliament, NPP MP for Minchia North and former Deputy Lands Minister Akufo-Addo accused the government of doing little to deal with Galamsey despite its many promises while in opposition.
Mr. Speaker, Galamsey is not simply an environmental issue. It is a national security threat. It fuels local conflict, deepens poverty, and exposes our youth to preventable death. In light of this, the Mahama-led government should leverage real-time surveillance through technology and satellite imagery, anchored in the visionary digitalization agenda of His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to enhance monitoring of high-risk mining zones and enable swift response to emerging illegal activities. The digitalized infrastructure, once mocked and misunderstood by our opponents, now presents a strategic tool to combat the Galamsey menace with precision, transparency, and accountability. Furthermore, Right Honorable Speaker, the government should revitalize and invest in community-based mining cooperatives, not only name-changing them.
But the Member of Parliament for Bimbilla, Dominic Nitiwo, says the government should fulfill its campaign promise to crack down on politicians involved in illegal mining.
Youth are being destroyed because of Galamsey. And what is painful is that somebody will have his cocoa farm. Minerals Commission will sit in Accra and issue permits, and they will go and destroy the cocoa farms. The former speaker, Joe Osewusu, you can find out from him. His own farm, he cannot visit that farm, cocoa farm, because Galamsey just invaded the whole place and took over. And that is what, if they can do that to a former speaker, what about the ordinary farmer in the village?
When have they done that to Joe Osewusu?
They seized his farm.
When?
They seized his farm last month. And they seized it last month. He told me that from September, October, the Galamsey seized his farm. But Mr. Speaker, all I'm saying is that our land is being destroyed, the livelihood is being destroyed, and we moved with force to go and stop them. If you continue sending just 2, 3, 4, 5 soldiers onto the field, you are putting their lives at risk.
But of course, the majority fired back, insisting that government is capable of winning the fight against illegal mining. Francis Xavier Soso is Member of Parliament for Medina.
Because I have always argued that when we fail on the fight against Galamsey, we will be failing the next generation. the generation yet unborn. Because, Mr. Speaker, in accordance with the rules of intergenerational equity, every generation must use the natural resources that are available to them in a way that you can guarantee its usage in the future. Unfortunately, that's not what we are seeing today. People are hell-bent on destroying our water bodies and destroying our natural environment for their own parochial interest. Mr. Speaker, this cannot continue. The number of deaths and accidents that are associated with this illegal mining sometimes are very alarming. The numbers that we have here are those that are reported. Those that are not reported, when the pits cave in and so on and so forth, are much more. And so, Mr. Speaker, I believe that it is time for us indeed to take a decisive action in dealing with this menace. Mr. Speaker, and that is why I want to commend government for the effort made so far, even though I believe that more must be done again, Mr. Speaker, to bring this under control.
Away from illegal mining, the director of ICRA, Dr. Robert Zugmore, has disclosed that over 11 million farmers across the continent now have access to climate-smart agriculture innovation and information services. This achievement comes after 5 years of implementing the ICRA and the World Bank's Food Systems Resilience Program. So out of the 11 million farmers, more than 3 million have effectively utilized the innovation to improve their agricultural activities and also outcomes. Speaking to Joy News after a team from ICRA, the World Bank and other implementing agencies visited some farmers in Bulun and Nyankpala, Dr. Zugmore noted that they are working on systems to scale it up.
The ICRA and the West African Food System Resilience Program are efforts to help farmers on the continent build resilience against food insecurity and climate-related shocks. It offers the farmers smart agricultural information. It also focuses on improving agricultural sustainability, managing risk, and supporting vulnerable households. Speaking in an interview during a monitoring by a team from the World Bank, ICRA, among others, Director of ICRA, Dr. Robert Zugmore, said they have put in place measures to ensure the sustainability of the project.
We've tried also to pilot some public-private partnership business models along the different value chains that for which the innovation have been generated. So we believe that, for instance, having these accelerator programs here in Ghana through the different thematic areas, including seeds, climate-smart seed systems, with a number of actors, both public and private, and through, for instance, the VSL, the Village Loan Saving Association, we are able to make sure that a minimum of guarantee is there to ensure that they can go to the banks, to the credit association, and benefit from credit that will sustain the innovation. From ICRA, after the 5 years, more than 11 million farmers across the continent have got access to climate-smart agriculture innovation and climate information services. Out of these 11 plus million, more than 3 million have now used effectively the different innovations.
A senior economist at the World Bank, Viviana Perego, said it's impressive to see how the project is impacting on the lives of women in communities.
It's been very inspiring to know about and learn about the Village Saving and Loans Associations. It's especially a privilege to hear about the empowering stories of women and how they are managing to save and get loans to support their families. Especially we learned about their productive activities, their support to their families, their support to their children's education and nutrition.
And speaking on behalf of the DC for Kumbungu, the Deputy District Director, Mohammed Kamal, said the Kumbungu District has emerged as a model district for climate-smart transformation because of the project.
Through the AICCRA project, our district has been privileged to emerge as a model for climate-smart transformation. The establishment of district-level CSI hub has positioned Kumbungu as a learning and innovation center for climate-resistant agriculture in northern Ghana.
Whenever you hear that sound, of course, you know what time it is. It is the moment everyone has been waiting for. Will it be a revenge, a back-to-back win, or the final hope to end an over 2-decade trophy drought as St. Augustine's College, Infantipim School and Opokuari School slag it out in an academic warfare to glory at the grand finale of the 2025 National Science and Maths Quiz? Well, the stage is set, questions ready, and the tension is thick in the air. Who wins the 2025 National Championship? Adom-Otchere reports from Cape Coast.
Each of these schools walks into the finals with a story that could make history. At Infantipim School, confidence fills the air. The defending champions have one mission: to prove that last year's victory was no fluke. Their preparation is steady, their focus unwavering.
Infantipim School is a school that was established in 1876 by the Methodist Church. Then we are grounded in core values such as faith, hard work, and discipline. This year, we believe that we have gotten this far because of our old boys and our teachers and
Dear, sincerest apologies. We'll rework that story and bring that to you in subsequent bulletins. But up next is some business news with Yahanta Pele himself, Samuel Kojo-Breeze.
All right, let's start the business update with what's happening on the currency market. Away from that, President of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Stefan Abbas Miezan, is entreating commercial banks to improve advancement of loans to businesses, reacting to the reports of an expected reduction in interest rates following a reduction in the inflation rate to 8% in October. Mr. Abbas says the impact on businesses will not be significant because commercial banks are reluctant to advance loans to players in the industry.
The difficulty is that you still don't get access to the fund. It means that when you go to the banks, they don't give you the money. They don't borrow you the money.
Why?
The requirements are so detrimental, such that, and it's also because the banks are concentrating on trying to buy the treasury bills and the bonds. Do you understand? So they prefer that as an avenue of investment as compared to bringing the money into industry and into commerce. So that is where access becomes very difficult. The banks are not giving the loans to the consuming public. Okay, so that is where the access is. So the interest can be down, but if they are not giving you the money or borrowing you the money, then you don't get access to it. So it's a zero game effect. It has no effect on us anyway.
I see.
So in as much as cost goes down, access should be liberal.
Well, the Bank of Ghana's gold reserves has hit 38.04 tons ending October this year. This was captured in a document issued by the central bank. We have more in this report.
The data showed that since the beginning of this year,
The Bank of Ghana, through its gold purchase program, has increased its gold reserves by a little over 7 tons. Also, from October 2024 to October 2025, the Bank of Ghana's gold reserves have gone up by more than 35%. When it comes to month-on-month growth for this year, we are looking at an average of 2.2%. The gold accumulation program has played a key role in improving Ghana's international reserves and the cedi's record appreciation against the dollar this year. Gold prices have also hit record levels, resulting in the Bank of Ghana making some windfall. The development has resulted in the regulator trying to roll out a mechanism where the said access can be released to the market in terms of dollar supply. Some market analysts have already projected that gold prices will hit $5,000 by the end of this year, and that could come as a good news for the economy. This was after it almost hit $4,000 earlier this year. This is because recent World Bank data showed that Ghana's economic turnaround had been fueled by rising prices of commodities like gold. But the biggest question here is that, with rising prices of gold, should we go ahead to hedge the country's gold reserves?
Okay, so whilst we're talking about gold, then of course, we need to check out how gold is performing on the commodities market now. And that's all in business. Back to you, Poma.
Could you breathe? And that's it. That's all we have for AM News. But please don't forget that you can log on to MyNigeriaOnline.com for more stories. My name is Denise Apomaije. Enjoy the rest of the show. But up next is sports.
Let's do sports now on the AM show. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, Akufo-Addo and his technical team are expected to release their squad by the end of the week ahead of Ghana's Asia-friendly tour. Now, the Black Stars will face Japan on the 14th of November before taking on South Korea 4 days later. The matches form part of preparations for the 2026 World Cup. Communications Director of the Ghana Football Association, Henry Asante-Chum, has been speaking to Joy Sports.
We are done with meetings and all arrangements, but sometimes during this period, a lot of things happen at the 11th hour, and that caused the delay of the squad release. So tentatively, we are looking at the close of this week or the weekend to confirm who will be in the squad or the full composition or full complement of the team. Plan is that the advanced team will depart Accra on Friday for Japan, and then the rest of the technical team. And I don't know if there will be local players or not, but depending on the number of local players, they will also travel hopefully on Sunday for Japan, and then we'll be expecting the players after their respective matches from Tuesday. So this is the plan for now. We are hoping that we'll have at least 3 training sessions of the full team in Japan before we take on the Blue Samurai on the 14th. And then once we finish that game, we will travel to Korea for the second game.
So in terms of the games themselves, it's preparatory for the World Cup. Are we likely to see the regular players, or the coach will be testing a lot of moves?
as we speak, I don't know. I haven't seen who is in the team and who is not in the team. But I think that as much as possible, the coach would like to continue his rebuilding exercise by keeping a core of the team. It helps in team bonding, team building, consistency as well. And from now to June, it's quite a long time in football. But unfortunately, we do not have too many games, to test ourselves. Because after this window, the only official or formal international window will be next year March, and that's quite a long time. And then after that, we may not play again until the 2 weeks leading to the tournament. So as much as possible, you would like to keep the core of the team together. But like I said, I haven't seen the squad list, and I am not in the position to comment any further.
Group stages of the CAF Interclub competitions kicks off later this month. And for the second year running, Ghana has no representative. Premier League champions Gold Stars were thrashed 7-0 on aggregate by JS Kabylie, while Asante Kotoko suffered a 6-1 loss to Wydad Casablanca. Dreams FC remained the only Ghanaian side in the last 20 years to have reached the semi-finals in Africa. Their general manager, Aminu Shadok, believes only massive investment can make Ghanaian clubs competitive again.
Experience, I saw how teams prepared themselves, how the states were involved in helping pushing their clubs to the highest level. I recall one example when we traveled to Stade Malien and the quarter final of the Confederation Cup. We beat them 2-1 there. Could you believe that they arrived in Ghana around the same time that we arrived? Because they took a chartered flight ordered by the states. I think it was the Air Force aircraft of Mali, straight to Kumasi. And we had to take what we call the trotro, the transit. We had to go through Togo, Guinea, Togo, and then get to Accra, disembark and use the bus all the way to Kumasi to play the match. So this gives you a clear example. And only because we didn't have the resources to fly the team straight to Kumasi, and it had a telling effect on the performance of the players. We were lucky to even escape with a draw, a 1-1 draw, if you recall. They scored first, and we had to, scramble to get to equalize just to make the semi-final. This is a clear example of what it takes for us to get there. We need, heavy investment in infrastructure, investment in the playing body, so that we can retain more of our quality players, so that when they go out there, they don't have any inferiority complex or so. What is also very, very key is that we need to have a consistent level of participation of clubs in Africa. So, for instance, Dreams FC, when we participated in the Confederation Cup 2 seasons ago, failed to qualify for Africa again. Now, all the networking that I harnessed during that campaign, the fact that I could call people from all over Africa to book hotels, and even do operations, proper operations, you know what I mean? All that network, by the time Dreams FC returns to Africa, would have gone, and then we have to start from the second scratch. So it's very, very important that we get a consistent team from Ghana that is always going to the group stages, going to the latter parts of the Confederation Cup, but all relies heavily on investment. So for me, it's I'm very clear in my mind that if we get a good injection of investment in our local game, we will compete very, very favorably in African club competitions.
Now, Kotoko and Gold Stars have now turned their attention to the Ghana Premier League. And of course, Week 9 comes off this weekend with a headline clash at the Accra Sports Stadium, where Hartlepool host Asante Kotoko. The Porcupines head into Sunday's encounter unbeaten with 3 wins from 5 matches. The Phobians are also unbeaten, boasting 4 victories so far. Kotoko coach Karim Zito says he's targeting all 3 points to hand Hartlepool their first defeat of the season.
Knows how the game is. It is one of the best and one of the most difficult game between the two. So everybody wants to win, just as we are going there with the mindset of winning. So it's like you plan against the best side of your opponent and then capitalize on the weaker side. So this is what we are doing in short to meet Hartlepool.
But you are meeting one of the elite coaches in the league, that is Coach Didi Dramani. I know he's somebody you are so close to. How impressed are you looking at his career and what he has done so far? And what do you think you need to do to get the best on the day?
Didi is a fantastic coach. I've worked with him before when he was in Kotoko. I was the manager of the youth side, and he's at the top of the premier side. And then the telepathy between us worked a lot. Because when you look at the result, we won the Premier Division twice, we won the Under 20 twice. So it tells you the way we were at that time. And we are still, aside Kotoko and Hasselfolk, we are brothers, we talk a lot, and he's doing well with Hasselfolk. I told them before the beginning of the league that our main objective is to win the league, to win the knockout and everything. And since we are out, how are we going to be consistent? Consistency goes with quality, as we all know, and you can't be consistent without qualifying to play the league or the champion or the CAF. So our objective is to go and beat Hasselfolk, that's all.
Now, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin is urging corporate Ghana to support the creation of a democracy soccer school of excellence to help nurture young football talent. He made the appeal at the Parliament's D.F. Annan Auditorium, where over 30 sponsors and partners of the second edition of the Democracy Cup were honored. Abdul Karim has the rest of the story.
The event attracted members of parliament, ministers, CEOs, the media, and football fans. Former players, including some who featured for the parliament and judiciary 11s in the curtain raiser game, were also present. Sponsors and partners received citations from the Speaker of Parliament in appreciation of their support for the second edition of the Democracy Cup. In his remarks, Speaker Alban Bagbin urged sponsors and partners to support the establishment of a Democracy Soccer School of Excellence.
In the long-term vision, we invite our partners and supporters to consider the proposal to support a private sector-led initiative. We are not leading that one. It's private sector-led initiative of setting up a Democracy Soccer School of Excellence. And that is aimed at nurturing young talents and instilling discipline in them, developing their leadership skills that will benefit both sports and democracy in our nation. Most of these talents that were nurtured into heroes and heroines that we have here was because of discipline. Discipline.
He further revealed that other parliamentary speakers across Africa have expressed interest in adopting the Democracy Cup initiative in their respective countries.
So, ladies and gentlemen, while we celebrate the achievement of this year's edition, I hasten to reiterate the fact that the Democracy Cup project is not merely about football match itself, not just about the match we go and watch. It is a comprehensive national program with a long-term vision. In fact, as I revealed this vision to my colleagues, speakers of parliament in Africa, they go so thrilled that they want us to extend it to the continental level.
Henry Asante Chum, who emceed the event, announced that next year's winner will face English Premier League side Sunderland in a special international fixture.
Through the efforts of the organizers, Primeval Media Limited and the Office of the Right Honourable Speaker, we have secured a partnership with Sunderland Football Club in England. And so, the winner of the next edition will travel to England.
Hasselfolk beat Great Olympics 1-0 at the University of Ghana Stadium in September to win the second edition of the Democracy Cup, following their loss to Asante Kotoko in last year's edition.
All right, so welcome back to the AM show. Time for us to go into what the papers are reporting this morning, and my colleagues, the beautiful Akufo-Addo, is standing by the smart wall to get us into what the papers are reporting. Before we bring in our guest, who is the renowned journalist, Paul, will be joining us here. I mean, everybody loves to watch Good Evening Ghana, right?
Of course.
We'll be having him here. Hi.
Well, yes. So a lot to be talking about this morning. Usually I'll be excited starting with the headlines on the newspaper, but this morning I'm not quite excited.
Yes.
The Daily Graphic is reporting and quite confirming a story that we saw yesterday. Husband burns wife, 5 children, suspected of infidelity. Yesterday our correspondent in that area actually brought us that story. And so the story is that he locked them up, went to the neighboring building, and then burnt down the whole structure as well. That's just the prelims from the Ghana National Fire Service. If you're interested in that story.
Because if this is suspected, you've not proven it, that your wife is engaged in infidelity, right? And even if she is, you've not checked to know which of the 5 children are yours or are not yours. So why burn all of them? And even if they are not yours, you have no right burning down burning human being. I mean, I don't really understand why the husband would do that.
At least see some red flags, or you'd see a person who is quite abusive. They will show you. Usually it's not a surprise. And so I'm wondering why it got to this point. But I'm really so sorry for the family as well. And it's not a good thing to report this morning. But your one full story is on page 3 of the Daily Graphic. And as well, GRA simplifies tax for informal sector. Yesterday that was launched. The Chief of Staff was saying that for those who have been doing business at night, some way, somehow, we must open up the tax net, and so they're going to be finding a way for them to also pay tax. Kojo, so you recall the PASEC headmaster who said that most of the students should as well pay for a fine for destruction of some properties in the school. Yeah. Well, here's an update. It's on page 13 of the Daily Graphic. PASEC, a technical school, so PASEC SecTech, I should say, headmaster removed from office. Story is on page 13. And yesterday, we brought you an update. Shraj indicts former GRA boss and accused of causing 9 million Ghana cedis financial loss to the state. Story is on page 16 of the Daily Graphic this morning. We'll move on to the next paper. We'll try and get you right. So the Daily Guide as well. Shraj indicts ex-GRA boss for 9 million Ghana cedis. Page 3. Of the Daily Guide. And NPP slumps judiciary over unreasonable bail terms. Stories on page 6. We just might get into that as well on our table during the review because Bra Adom has joined us. 5-week pregnant trafficked teenager rescued in Takwa. Story is on page 6 as well. We'll just go to my Joy Online straight and usually I bring you lots of the papers, but for time, I'll just take you straight to my Joy Online this morning and direct you to take most of the details of the stories that you may have seen in front of the newspapers. Let me just bring you my Joy Online. I'm certain that the story about Green Glut is also making a top story on my joyonline.com. Let's see if I can pull that up for you quickly. But of course, you know myjoyonline.com, you can just log in, www.myjoyonline.com. And then, then as well, just take a read, I mean,
so that's Ghana's reigning CIMG news portal of the year, right? So just get on there and see what's happening. But yes, we've been joined in studio by the prominent journalist, a political historian, some of us would like to call him. I don't know of politics yet, but I mean, people say he's a politician as well. Paul Adom-Otchere of the Good Evening Ghana fame. I mean, he does that thing and you love it when you watch him. It's an honor to have him on the show this morning. Maybe I don't want to call you Uncle Paul, but I feel like calling you Uncle Paul. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Makes me feel quite old. I like to be introduced as a news reporter.
Okay.
Ghana, we give a lot of accolades that may not be deserving. So I'm a news reporter for Metro TV.
Okay. But if we look at the thing and go way back into time,
because I've been a news reporter all the time. Yeah.
But you have quite some age or years on your hand.
I'm 50, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're 50.
Yes, please.
You sound like you're 70.
Oh, well.
Even in the analysis of history,
sorry about that.
And even a reportage, he brings you a lot of history that makes you feel, did he live in that era? Yeah.
I didn't. I guess I have a penchant for reading and understanding what happened in the past, because there's a Bible scripture that says that, I can tell you an experience. When I studied abroad, and when I went to school abroad, I noticed in the university that I was studying that history was a very important subject, and that graduates from the A-level or the SSC, the WASI, the top graduates went into history. And I didn't understand it, because I was coming from Ghana and history was to be laughed at. So I asked my professor that, why do you, first of all, I wanted to find out the graduates that make a lot of money. It was my own research. And I understood that the stockbrokers, those who advise on stocks and all of that, they make the most money. And then I saw that history was the one that people were, if you want to go to Oxford and you want to go and study history, you have to get 3-star A's. It's very, very important. What for us was important in Ghana and Legon was School of Admin. Where I went to, that was way back bottom. And so I asked that, but which people get into the stock exchange? They said, the historians. And I was confused. I said, I thought that was about calculation. They said, no, it's about patterns. So it's the most history students from the top schools that become the stockbrokers, because they understand patterns. And then the professor said to me that, but you are a Christian. I said, yeah, I am. He said, but it's in your Bible. Solomon wrote it, that there's nothing new under the sun. What has happened is what will happen. What has been is what will be. So there's nothing new under the sun. So that underscores the importance of history. So the stockbroker can look at 1948, and he said, after the World Cup, these stocks went up. So in 1982, after the World Cup, these stocks will go up, because his history is patterns. So I said, oh, I see, that's interesting. And I came back to ask people in Legon, and they told me that in the 60s, history and classics was very, very important. In fact, Professor Alex Kwapon, when he became the Vice Chancellor of the university, the first African Vice Chancellor, he made classics compulsory in the 70s. So that's why I've been in this battle with all the people who say that there are some useless courses and all of that. I think that we have not been able to properly calibrate our education. That's why we feel that some courses that we definitely need. Yesterday, I was speaking to a presidential candidate, and he was talking about AI, and he was talking about how important it is for sociologists and anthropologists to be taught coding, and that the university should consider adding it, because it is the anthropologist and the sociologist who can do the AI that is welcoming you to the mall. He knows, the scientist knows how to put the AI together, but the anthropologist will tell him that let the AI welcome people when they enter. Let him raise and say, hi, welcome to this shop. And then let the AI, when people enter the shop, they are looking for what they'll buy. So let the AI continue to say that on your left is that, on your right is that, on the right is that. That's a sociological situation. A lot of the problems we are having in Ghana is because we don't pay heed to anthropologists and sociologists. We are planning a policy. We don't have the sociologists telling us that, look, this your double track policy is going to go this way. This your free SHS policy is going to occasion a rise, because people are naturally going to want to go. That's a sociological function. It's not a scientific function, to understand how human beings will relate to something. And so the sociologists would have said that once you do this, you're going to have another maybe 50, 100,000 people going. So it's important that, and I like what some of the new politicians are beginning to understand, that training in the arts is very, very important for building society. Science is very, very important for livelihood. We live on science. Whatever we've done this morning, whether you use a cream, that's chemistry. Whether you took a shower and you had hot water, that is mechanical engineering. So we live on science. So without science, we'll die. But in terms of how to organize our society and accelerate our development, is really with sociology, anthropology, history, political science.
Okay.
I'm just curious about this presidential aspirant that you spoke with yesterday.
Yes, I'm not sure he'd like me to mention his name.
I would like
one of the MPP people.
I would like you to, because I want to get into the mind of this person. I want that when I hear him. You don't have his permission. But what he said is quite positive.
Yeah,
why not?
It is indeed. But I don't like to repeat conversations in the public. I was with him yesterday. He didn't know that I'll be talking about it.
Okay.
Let's start a conversation with the recent past public office you held.
Yes, yes.
The board chair of the Ghana Airport Company. What do you make of your time there?
Oh, well, I mean, it's difficult to ask one to assess himself in a situation like that. I'm sure that the jury will be out and the people who are engaged with will say. But I think I enjoyed my time there thoroughly. I met new people, and I believe that we did a good job. But I mean, I can't say. People would look at it and make a determination.
What makes you believe that you did a good job?
Because we went in at the time when the Sunyani airport, for instance, was closed. It became an ambition of the president at the time that he needed to open Sunyani airport. When we did, the traffic flow into Sunyani airport was amazing and shocking. It made us feel that we had done a very good job. Today, it's a very busy traffic, and the people in Sunyani were happy with it. And then we also worked hard to try and complete the Kumasi airport, which we did, left with the extension of the runway, but we did. It has changed. Yesterday, I saw the German president arrive at the Kumasi airport, and I saw a video of him driving out of the place and the beauty of the exterior when you leave the Kumasi airport, which matches any European airport. I felt proud about it. That, yeah, this is what we did. This was very good, and it helped Ghana. So on that and a few other things, I think hopefully when posterity comes to judge, they will judge us positively.
You flew a plane from Gatwick,
Gatwick, yes.
To Kumasi.
Yes.
But it didn't bring the international flight we wanted into Kumasi, did it?
Yeah, it didn't, because we wanted to demonstrate the internationalization of the airport. It was a heated campaign period, and there was a lot of conversations on the campaign. And when campaign happens, people say all kinds of things on the campaign. Yesterday, we were reading in the news that an MP who said she had been shot during the campaign turned out not actually to be in the convoy. So in the heat of campaign, a lot of things happened. There was political pressure to demonstrate that the government had not deceived the people when it said that the airport is international. It will take a while for the policy of internationalization of the airports to take roots. But the airport was international, and there was political interest in demonstrating that the airport is international. It may not have started taking regular international flights, but when the Minister of Transport goes to Parliament and says that we have internationalized the Kumasi airport, he was right, and that needed to be demonstrated.
At that time when the plane was coming, had the airport been fully completed?
That's the reason why the plane was able to land, and that's why an important international brand like Ethiopian Airlines was used. There were conversations about using a chartered flight, etc., etc. Some people felt that a chartered flight will not make the point because there will be rebuttals. But if you use a regular international airline that agrees that I'm flying to an international airport based on the indications, based on the calculation, the indices, the size of the runway, the infrastructure at the airport, then you would have endorsed the fact that it is an international airport. And so Ethiopian Airlines, who conducted the flight, agreed that it's ready for international flights, and that was very important.
There was one big thing that happened when you were there. Remember the famous, is it tree light or whatever at the airport?
Oh, the Christmas tree. Yeah, the Christmas tree.
That was quite...
It was a matter ado about nothing. Again, really? This was political, yeah.
Okay.
Eventually, the matter went to Shiraj, actually. And I had appeared before Shiraj, and Shiraj gave a ruling that we believe completely exonerated us. The only disappointment I had with Shiraj was that when I went in, I told him that I wanted this filmed. I've said that before. I told him that, Mr. Commissioner, it's a public hearing. I really want this filmed, because I don't want your ruling to come out and people say this and that. Let's film it and let everybody see what's happening here. He declined. And so when the ruling came and people were picking parts of the ruling and making a case that I told these people that this is the reason why I wanted it filmed. That was really my disappointment. And since then, I had wanted to begin a campaign for Shiraj, because when I went in there and I had covered Shiraj, I've reported Shiraj in this book, in Emil Short. I'd covered Shiraj and Emil Short, and I went to Shiraj and I didn't see anything new, different from the time that Emil Short was there. It came to me as a disappointment. I covered Parliament as well. And I went to Parliament 2 days ago for the Speaker's Media Forum, and I saw a lot of difference, and I was quite excited that when I was covering Parliament in the second Parliament, and many people were surprised around the table when I said I had covered the second Parliament. In fact, the Speaker had to remind himself of it. So, but I went to Shiraj yesterday, Speaker's Forum yesterday. There's a 9th Parliament, and you can see physical improvement in the infrastructure in Parliament and in the way they do their work. They are more modern. When I went to Shiraj, I was confused. I was disappointed. So I thought that a campaign should begin for Shiraj to give them the technology that Parliament has, the power to record video and all of that. They don't have that kind of setup. The courts have it. So when Justice Tokonu was CJ, it was easy for the court to broadcast live online. And Shiraj doesn't have it. Shiraj doesn't have his Yesterday, Shraj published something on Amishadai. It came to even regular journalists as a surprise. They didn't know that there was a hearing was being held about Amishadai. It came to everybody as a surprise. But Shraj is a very important constitutional institution, and that we should not let it go the way it's going without resources. It should be very well resourced and help the process by giving that transparency impetus so that people can see what's happening at Shraj, so that students, graduate students, can study what's happening at Shraj and then produce a report. So over the next 50 years, the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice will be an important bulwark of our democracy, and other African countries can copy it. It's so important. The thinking was so right in putting Shraj in the Constitution, but the way we have treated it, I'm not sure. So that was really my connection with it. But this Christmas tree was really a much ado about nothing.
I'm certain we'll miss this Christmas tree. Christmas is just around the corner.
No, it was about spending on Christmas at the airport, and we had actually reduced the spending, but it was very political again. So some NDC people who didn't like me thought that they got something, they needed something. And again, in Ghana, sometimes the politics is not about what you say, let me challenge what you say, but okay, if you said this, I will get something on you. And it's a very devastating way to conduct politics. And I don't think that they were doing that in the past, if you read my book, Covering the Fourth Republic. But since about 2012, this kind of politics has come in, where people are not responding to what you are saying. People don't challenge what you are saying. But if you say something that is true, or you conduct yourself in a way that brings out truth that hurts them, then they will say, I will get something on you. That's really the term they use these days. So you cross the red traffic light yesterday, they make a big case out of it, not because you crossed the red traffic light, but because of what you said on Newsfile. I think that's very terrible politics. And that was the politics that was at play here. They needed to get Paul Adom-Otchere because he's been conducting stuff about the NDC. They don't say that what he says about the NDC is untrue. No one ever says that. No one ever says that you've carried out a broadcast that is false. But if you carry out a broadcast that they think will convince people and that they think will make their party look bad, then they look for you. In Akan, they say that, and they look for you. And that was the motivation that went in. But the ruling of Shraj was very clear. In fact, even till today, people say that, why don't you jail Paul Adom-Otchere for the Christmas tree? And no one is listening to them, but they are still saying it.
Isn't it more about probably the cost involved? The Ghanaians feel that why do we have to spend on something they deem?
That was very important. And it was about that. The intervention was really about the cost. So that is why in the first expression, I published the cost of yesteryears and demonstrated that this is the cheapest cost, because I entered into a meeting where they were discussing this matter, and I was worried about the money they were talking about around the table, that why are you spending so much money for Christmas? And I said, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. Reduce the cost. But later on, we're told that the spending process benefits certain people. Every year, they have something to do with the spending process. So if you come in as board chairman and you say, we are not spending that anymore, and in fact, the company is not paying all. This was the first time that the company got people to pay. And when I went to Shraj, I submitted it to them that the check came from the advertising people, because I said that, but they do the advertising, they benefit from this. Why don't we get them to pay? And they obliged. They paid a huge part of the cost. A check was issued from them to the vendors. It didn't come through the airport. So the whole issue about procurement then blew out into smithereens. But the cost was the reason why we went in, to reduce the cost. We made that point. But nobody listens, because it's political time and it's campaign time and it's Paul Adom-Otchere, so let us hang him however. And it's not everyone who likes to come on social media to make a comment. But there are some people who are very agile in that regard. If majority of them are making a point, it will seem as if that point is correct. But it's not always right.
So
there's a majority. Oh, they paid for some of it. But
no, I mean, the Ghana Airport Company was not the one that paid for it.
No, airport company paid some of it, but some of it was taken from advertisers. And it was a rental process. Yes, so they paid for some of it, and then some of it was...
How much was it again?
Oh, I can't remember. The figures are public, so, I mean, the figures are very public. It's in the Shraj ruling.
Okay.
I see that you say that you had an experience with Shraj. You're also having that experience with the OSP. Mm-hmm. Would you advertise? Would you as well ask that some of the technology you're advocating for Shraj be also provided for the OSP?
Well, I think the process with the OSP is ongoing. It's not over, so I really don't want to speak about it.
No, I mean the technology of public hearing, because most of the things that he as well investigates
for public hearing, I think that it should go across board. I was observing some of the public trials going on. The public hearing, it should apply to everything. Everything that has an investigation that involves the public purse should really have the public seeing it, so that the public will decide whether I'm watching the OSP's interrogation of X or I want to watch the High Court trial of Kwabena Dubois. All of that must be available. I mean, we are a growing democracy, so transparency is essential. So I think everything must be available. And then Georgina Wood set the tone, and that's why we congratulate her in my book. When the Supreme Court ruled that the trial cannot be, the first election petition cannot be on television, it was Georgina Wood who said, no, we have to put it on television. And since then, we have developed this culture that is admired by many African countries. So yes, I agree. If the OSP is having a serious interrogation with people, there has to be, but the OSP seems to have cameras in the rooms where they talk to people. I saw a few cameras there, so yes. But it has to be available to the general public if they want to see it, you know. And now we have a right to information bill that Akufo-Addo gladly passed. So we are building up transparency, and we shouldn't stop it with decisions that the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice cannot transmit live some of his interrogations. Today, Amin Shadai's lawyers are complaining. They are saying, ignore the commissioner, we haven't done anything wrong. And how do journalists even evaluate it? People woke up yesterday morning in newsrooms and they saw that Shraj does so and so and so. Said, so Shraj was doing this work all the time. When Commissioner Short, many years ago, was doing the PV Obeying trial, one of the biggest Shraj, it wasn't reported live because there was no facility to do so, but television was allowed in to film it every day and broadcast it. And newspapers were allowed it. And I think that was even a tussle. If you read my book, Commissioner Short had to come to the decision that, yes, newspapers and recognized media houses can cover it. It was quite a big issue. And then eventually the Chronicle reported it and other people reported it. So, yes, in terms of transparency, the public hearing must, as much as possible, be online.
But has been the experience so far with the OSP? You're in court.
No, I'm not in court yet.
You're seeking a few declarations?
Oh, relating to that one. Yes. I don't want to talk about that. You know.
Why not?
I mean, if you have taken an action, I'm not sure that you have to come on television and prosecute your action. Eventually, whatever happens will be told.
If you tell me what you're seeking, you will not be prosecuting it, right?
No, I think that's public. That's public information. It's public, but I still don't want to talk.
Considering how you said people were reporting your experience with Shraj, and this is why you wanted the information public, because you're here, it would be nice to hear from you so that you don't leave the public.
Oh, no, it's not. I'm not sure my lawyers will be happy with that. I'm not sure they'll be happy.
Anyway, so you have reported, when I just took a casual look at the book, by the way, your book is bigger than mine. Why?
No, sorry, this is a reference. So I made them print it bolder.
Okay. Okay, then I was looking, did I miss a few pages? Okay. So you have here you say that you love to be called a news reporter.
Yes, absolutely.
Over the years since you've been reporting government in, government out, today you sit in this chair. If you just take a look at the current government, what's your general assessment, your performance so far?
Oh, well, I mean, it's as everybody says, it's a bit early. This week the government will be given its first major budget. But you see that the government has itself realized that some of the things that they said in opposition that were doable are not as simple as that. And the campaign of 2024 was feisty. And again, the Interior Minister's report yesterday contradicts what a lot of people said during the campaign about Hawakumsin. So I'm sure the government itself is finding out. And they shouldn't be, because a lot of them have been in government before. But they are finding out that running the government is not as simple as running a campaign in terms of what you say. So, but in terms of judging the government, the things we can observe are the macroeconomic indicators that they have put out or that they have been able to achieve. But it's always a concern in African politics and really every kind of politics that macroeconomic indicators must always fit the micro. So this is not the first time that the NDC has achieved single-digit inflation, which was reported yesterday at 8%. During the time of Professor Mills, I think I reported that in the book as well, the NDC achieved the longest single-digit inflation for nearly 2 years. Dr. Dufo and Fifi Kwete achieved that. But in those periods, those who lived in those periods, and even if you Google the research, it will tell you that the microeconomic indicators were not really the same. as the macro had indicated. During the period of the Ken Ofori-Atta CD crash, there was a particular week and social media was awash with information and stories where the dollar suddenly jumped from 12 to 8. And I don't know what I remember, but it was a very major problem. People were teasing people on social media because the dollar was, the CD was crashing. One day we woke up and the Bank of Ghana said the CD is 8. It was 12 on the market, said it's 8. And there was a lot of frustration. My understanding is that the government decided that you don't need to do that, let market forces apply. So there's always a way in which the people who control affairs can create situations that generates the figures. When the build-up started of the CD strength, the government had denied backing the CD with dollars. The government had said that in different versions that it was about gold, it was about prudence. Then eventually IMF came up and World Bank came up and told the government that you cannot continue to do that. And that is when the government admitted that yes, they are doing that. In fact, yesterday there was a publication that $1 billion is going to be used to shore up the city. So if you have $1 billion, there are many things you can do with it. One of it is to shore up the city. If you decide to shore up the city, you will get some figures. It's not a bad thing, but to the extent that it doesn't translate to micro prices of bread and tea bread and butter bread, which is my favorite, and kenke, you are going to have a deficiency of politics. That's always my fear.
But things have generally gone down, not so. Right?
Well,
prices have fallen
I Googled it.
on the market. Fuel and the pumps have gone down.
I Googled yesterday as I was preparing for this program. I asked AI and they said price of kenke is 5 cedis in some places. Price of bread has gone up in some places. Yes, it's there. So, and then school fees. And we are seeing GTech now tell the University of Ghana that you cannot increase your school fees until you talk to us because they have noticed that the University of Ghana wants to increase school fees. So yes, the concern I have is with the fidelity of politics. We don't have to let people feel that politics says things that are not true. Politics is about dishonesty and all of that. If we do that, it's going to crush our society because if you look around the world, democracy is under threat. And the threat that democracy is under is not because people don't want democracy, but people think that democracy has not achieved what it promised, especially in African countries. So I always get concerned wherever it is in Africa when I see politicians do things that will undermine the policy of democracy.
Has it not always been like this? Especially you've lived through various stages of democracy and even politics, governance. Has it not always been like this? Or you say it's gotten worse? Oh,
I think it's gotten worse, and there's a reason for that. If I take Ghana as a case study, the vitriol is much more, everyone knows that. But the reason why it's gotten worse, it has to do with the arrangement of our constitution. The winner takes all is a devastating way to develop politics in a developing country. That's why our politics has come to where we are. In the second and third parliaments, we didn't hear a government changes and almost everyone is changing. MDs of Ghana Commercial Bank are changing. MDs of this is changing. That is changing. In those days, in the Second Republic, Professor Buzia tried to remove some people and he lost the case in court. When President Akufo came, he said people should proceed on leave and they had to really find something. It was very difficult to move people in those days because of the history we're coming from. Now it's very easy. In fact, if you are anything that you are near government, unrelated to government, indirectly related to government, you are Kolebu CEO, if the election is over, you're gone. You may never have attended an NPP or an NDC meeting. You may just know one person in NPP who said to Akufo-Addo that, oh, this doctor, I think he's great. He can be Kolebuchi. Look at the CV. And you are sitting down and they called you that, oh, the president and the minister of health are happy with your CV. Can you formally apply for the Kolebu job because it's vacant? And then you apply for the job. You are not a politician. You go, you are working, and then the election comes and MPP loses, you are fired. You have to know, and you have to agree, and you have to believe that you are fired. Now, that's dangerous. And it is so because the Constitution says winner takes all, and it's devastating. And that is why I gave 1,000 support to Akufo-Addo's vision that let's create more centers of power by amending the Constitution and gets district assemblies elected on partisan lines so that the NPP goes to the elections of 2024 and gets a whooping defeat. They still know that they will win the Kumasi mayorship. And so they are relaxed. They still know that they can fight for the Takoradi mayorship and they may win that. And it will be an MPP government in Takoradi. Yesterday, this week, you've seen the results in the American election.
Before we even go to the American, yeah, I've seen.
Yes, let me finish that point. And that is where the Democrats are now beginning to feel part of the process, because it's not a winner takes all. Yes, Donald Trump won the elections, but last night, the Democrats won New York. And that's important. I can't understand why people raised, and in fact, Parliament agreed with it, and I've always cited to him Haruna Idrisu's concluding remarks in the debate in Parliament in the Hansard. He praised the president for bringing this policy. And then suddenly we heard that the NDC says they are not interested in partisan, and some civil society members, in fact, IDEC and co, civil society IDEC, had supported it at the beginning. Suddenly, people said that, well, if you do partisan lines, there's too much politics in Ghana. Until and unless we break the winner takes all in the constitution, we are going to have feisty elections.
But when they were supporting it, was it on partisan? What was it from the beginning?
Yeah, the president said it's...
Had it been created that
it was partisan? This was the real issue of the difference was contest the elections, but don't make it on partisan grounds. And I didn't quite get it, because we live in this country. When there's district assembly elections, NPP comes and claims victory and said that we won 2/3 of the district assembly elections. We all know that is non-partisan. How did they know they won? NDC says we won this of the district assembly elections, and therefore we're going to win the election. I was told that there was a conversation that if this assembly elections is run on partisan lines, the map of Ghana and the assemblies might favor one party, because there are more districts in certain regions, and it will look like that party is more popular. On the account of that, they should disagree with the partisan. Because if we had done that, whenever NDC has lost elections, they will know that they will win the Keta MC. They will know that they will win maybe they win the Tamale MC, which is not a small one. They can fight for the Takoradi MC. They can fight for the Cape Coast one. They can even probably win Accra, the AMA, the mayor of Accra. And that will let the NDC sit back and say, no, don't worry, let them have it. Let's organize ourselves. Let's go into the... And if you go to win the mayorship of Accra, there are some contracts to give. And it's going to go to NDC people. There's a government in Accra that is being run by the NDC. They take their own taxes. There's a government in Kumasi.
Intentionally stifle that assembly.
No. If we do the rules well, you can't. And America does it, and Nigeria does it. So for the longest time that Chief Obasanjo was president, Bola Tinubu was his rival. And for the longest time Obasanjo was president, Bola Tinubu continued to win Lagos on another party's ticket. And then it's also a ground to train new young politicians, young people who want to get into politics. They can start as an assistant in the mayor's office in Takoradi, and that's important for his CV. But we don't do that. We give a central government, a central president, the power to make 5,000 appointments. How is that president going to succeed? He's making 5,000 appointments. And so one of the important things, and I hope the Constitutional Review Committee is looking at it, is to break the winner-takes-all cycle of the 1992 Constitution. If we don't, political parties will not accept to lose an election.
Take me back to how we probably got to this point, and maybe could you just brought our attention to one possible challenge, which you've just said, if we just make the rules right, we can do that. Power will just not be centralized, at least it'll be decentralized. But personally, do you envisage some challenges with this system where it's not the winner that takes all? But how did we even get to the winner takes all principle in Ghana? Where did the history start from? What happened in Parliament?
No, it's just the provisions of the 1992 Constitution.
Did it just...
The provisions of the 1992 Constitution creates a winner takes all. Article 58 of the Constitution says all executive power shall be vested in the president.
Yeah, what does history say why it took expression in the Constitution?
Well, I mean, we have come from that background as a country. The 1960 Constitution was very authoritarian, and it created a lot of power in the hands of the president. And we were not doing a Republican Constitution before. We're doing the British style, which is what I recommend for many African countries, because inherent in the British parliamentary system is the firm ground of accountability. The British parliamentary system provides a lot of accountability. The Prime Minister is in Parliament. You can ask him any question. And I made this presentation before the Constitution Review Committee, the Mills one. I've showed that video on television, where I appeared before the Constitution Review Committee and told them that if we don't have the British parliamentary system and we can't create accountability, we should yet create a presidential question time for the president of Ghana. He ought not to come to Parliament just once to give the sessional address and nobody ask him any question and he's gone. There are ministerial question time, but it's important if we want to balance the scale to create that accountability, to have the president more regularly visit Parliament on a presidential question time. And I gave the examples then to the committee. In those days, the example also were about Flight Lieutenant Rawlins, that we have been in Ghana and we have heard of a guard room in the castle where they shave people's hair. We will never get to know the truth because you can't ask the president. If it was in the British parliamentary system, he will come to Parliament and they will ask, Mr. President, is there so and so there? And it creates that accountability. Now, it will be obvious that the accountability that system gave was great. And that is why successive African leaders in the 60s, who all became despots, took away that system and created a presidential system where power resides in their hands. And so in the Second Republic, Ghana went back to that system. And somehow the coup came, it didn't work. And then in the Third Republic, they decided that they're going full presidential system. In the Fourth Republic, they obviously didn't want, and I've read I report it in the book, the Constitution Review, the work that was done by Dr. S.K.B. Asante in recommending what kind of constitution. It was obvious that the PNDC was not interested in presenting Flight Lieutenant Rawlins with either a British parliamentary system or even the French system, which generates a bit of accountability. What the French system also does, which might be good for us, is proportional representation. That may also be very good for us because in proportional representation, you will never have a useless political party. And that's why Julius Malema thrives in South Africa. If South Africa were operating our constitution, they couldn't have created a Julius Malema. Proportional representation is that you go to the election and you get 2% of the votes. If you get 2% of the votes, you have 2% of parliament. You nominate people for parliament. Nobody goes for parliamentary election. They don't vote for MPs. The parties choose their MPs. So when you are running the election and you know that the people of Ghana like Kojo Brace, and then you tell them that if I win the election, Kojo Brace will go to parliament. So you are in parliament because you are representing the percentage that the party won. That's how it is in the proportional. That's why it's called proportional representation. So you win 10% of the vote, you have 10% of parliament. So Alan Shermartin will go into the election, hope that he gets 5% of the vote, he has 5% of parliament, he nominates himself, and then he's in parliament. That's how Julius Malema is over there. So he brings in the economic freedom fighters, sets up a political party called Economic Freedom Fighters in Soweto. Then he goes into the election, he has 15%. So he has 15% of parliament. So he's there, and Jacob Zuma is there, and he can throw punches at him. And that also creates a sense of a bit of accountability. When the constitution started, we always had at least 10% of members of parliament being from the smaller parties. Yeah. By the last election of 2016, all of it had evaporated. CPP, the greatest political party in Ghana that won independence for Ghana, cannot afford a single member in parliament. And that's dangerous. So proportional representation also works. It's important for us to look at our constitution and see what will work for the development of democracy. So far, the constitution has done very well in establishing the democracy. And I think that's a good step. And in establishing important institutions of the democracy, like the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. I think that's also very important. But we now have to get to the stage where we can make accountability very important, because the complaints of people are politicians are chopping money and all of that. Transparency, very, very important. Until we get accountability and transparency together, our constitution may not live the life that we expect it to, because over 35 years, it has done what it should do. It has established a very powerful Supreme Court. We're here to see how the 9th Parliament Supreme Court will work. It has established a parliament that we all can now agree that does its work. We probably may need different kinds of people there, but that's another conversation. But the parliament works, the speaker works, everything works in the parliament. If you are a minister and you sign a document that is an international document, you don't go to parliament, it's a problem. It wasn't a problem in 1996, but it was always in the constitution. But now it's a problem. So parliament has grown. The growth of parliament and the effectiveness of parliament has become very paramount to our constitution. So that has been achieved. Now we need to achieve transparency and accountability. Otherwise, we are in trouble.
Which of the parliaments has your full attention? Which one do you like so far?
Oh, I mean, the second parliament, I think, was the best. I mean, people can debate that, but I covered it.
And I think and the likes, right?
Yes, and it had Justice D.F. Annan, yes. I mean, the second parliament was a real good one. The MPP had a mighty minority like they have now. And I mean, my best story from that parliament, which I record in the book, is one afternoon when we were summoned. Those days, they didn't used to do afternoon sittings that often. But one afternoon, 3 o'clock, we were summoned as a press corps to come to the chamber because the speaker was going to meet the parliament. It was about a publication. It was about an application by Hackman Usu-Ajeman that Chronicle had published, that the president had received a bribe from the Nigerian president, and that he was the ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. And he thought that Parliament should have a discussion on that. And those days, I mean, it wasn't simple to even mention the name Rawlings, let alone suggest that he had taken a bribe and that you wanted the conversation in Parliament. And so the Speaker called and he arranged the Parliament and said, well, honourable members, Akufo-Addo has a question here. He wants Parliament to discuss the issues in the newspaper. The NDC view of the matter is that Parliament cannot be following tabloid newspapers and discussing it. And it made some sense. J.H. Osuo-Champon, very distinguished member of Parliament at the time, was a majority leader on the NDC side. And he said that, Mr. Speaker, we cannot come. So Speaker took views from both of them on whether the Parliament should discuss it or not, as Akufo-Addo had recommended. And it was looking like the matter was going to a vote. And the NPP was going to lose. So then the NPP was really struggling in that meeting to sort of establish how Osafo Maafo spoke, J.H. Mensah spoke, all their big people spoke. But the skills of should Parliament discuss a tabloid newspaper was really weighing against them. And then Akufo-Addo stood up, and we're all wondering in the public press gallery, well, how is he going to salvage the NDC's NPP situation here? And then he said that the matter before the House is not about whether or not Parliament should discuss the thing. That's not even the matter. So everybody was alarmed. What's he talking about? Then he proceeded to say that the matter before the House is also not if tabloids publish matters, whether Parliament should. That's not the matter. The matter before the House is about the Speaker. And everyone said, what is he talking about? And just DF looked bemused. He said, yes, Mr. Speaker, it's about you. And he said, what is it? He said, Mr. Speaker, you are not a member of this House. And we all were like, And the Speaker sort of acknowledged that you are not a member of this House. You cannot determine for us what we should decide or not. We, the members of Parliament, would have to decide whatever we want to discuss. You cannot make a decision. Speaker said, okay, fair, well, no problem. I understand. Therefore, let me put the question. And the MPP walked out and they didn't take the question because, of course, they were going to lose. That was a very eventful story.
It will be the story and part of your book that really introduced me to DF Annan and a different type of Parliament. Let's talk about some of the things.
Is that where your love for Akufo-Addo began?
Oh, I think that if you ask any reporter in the second and third Parliament about Akufo-Addo, they'll probably have the same impression, especially the second Parliament. He was one of the big names in Parliament. He was always there. If you had 5 people in Parliament, he was one of them. And in fact, he told this story when he was introducing Dominic Nitiwul, making him Minister for Defence in 2017, that when Dominic Nitiwul won the by-election in 2002 or so, Mohammed Chambers was a member of Parliament for Bimbilla, the very distinguished foreign minister, and he had been given an appointment by ECOWAS, and so a by-election was occasioned. Dominic Nitiwul was very young, and he won the by-election. And Akufo-Addo tells a story to the general public in 2017 that he was in Parliament on one of those days, and there were only 3, 4, 5 people there. Parliament hasn't started, but he was on his desk, and he was writing. Then he saw this young man come to sit down. He didn't know him. And he was wondering that, who's this? And he was concerned. So he called the Parliament ushers and said, but who is this? And they said, oh, he's a new member of Parliament for Bimbilla. He's coming today. He's swearing in. And he said, oh, okay. All right. And so he went to see him and he called him over and they spoke. And Akufo-Addo told the public that from that day onwards, they have become very good friends. And so Akufo-Addo was always there. I mean, you come to a Parliament, there are 3 people. He's sitting down, he's writing. And given that he was such a big name and he shows up, he's always there. And he had a thriving legal practice. He was always in Supreme Court fighting MPP cases. You could tell that this guy was a man for the future. It was very obvious that he really was a man for the future. And the way he related to people, I knew that if ever he wants to be president, he will have my vote.
Was that future fulfilling for you from what you said?
Well, many things happened, but all in all, I believe that posterity will judge Akufo-Addo positive. All in all, he may have made some mistakes, but after you look at it, and I treat it in this book, and I call him the most impactful politician of the Fourth Republic. I divide it into certain the reasons why I'm saying that. Mobilization, he was a politician of the Fourth Republic who did the biggest mobilization. Press freedom, he was a politician of the Fourth Republic who fought for press freedom the most. Parliamentary procedures, he was a politician of the Fourth Republic who's fought for this. The potential amendment of the Constitution in those days, he was the subsidiary legislation chairman in Parliament, where the vice president had conflicts with the president and they had wanted to change the constitution. He fought against it. The time he spent at the IEE giving lectures and developing the constitution, And eventually, by 2016, he occasioned the biggest victory. And that is why I wasn't surprised that in 2016, he came up with the biggest victory of an opposition member in the history of the Fourth Republic. That history still stands because President Mahama came in 2024 as former president. And Akufo-Addo came in 2016 not as former president. So he still holds the record of having won the largest margin as an opposition candidate coming into the ballot. So yes, if you look at everything that he did, and his time as Attorney General was eventful. The repeal of criminal libel law we talk about was important. And I remember his disagreements with Akoto and Paul, may he rest in peace, because Akoto had filed a case in court on criminal libel for Kweku Baako and I believe Haruna Atta also. And Akoto was confident that he was going to win the application because he had managed to convince the court that the criminal libel law was at direct variance with the provisions of Chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution. Akoto was sure that he was going to win. Given the political atmosphere change in December 2000, Akoto was even more confident that he was going to win. Akoto wanted a ruling by the court to say that the criminal libel law was wrong. But Akufo-Addo said, no, we are taking a bill to Parliament to repeal it, Akoto. You're not going to have your day in court. We are repealing the law. Akoto was working from his law firm. He could have decided to take the credit and the glory that Akoto file it, and then let's get the judgment for Akufo-Addo Prempenko. But he said, no, that's not important. Let us make it a national agenda. Ghana decides that we don't want. It's better than the court gives an opinion. Let's say Ghana decides that we don't want criminal libel. And then in July 2001, I was in Parliament. I was so proud when he moved the motion that the criminal libel law be repealed.
So those things he did prior to becoming president made a lot of people believe and trust that he could be one of the president to fight corruption. From where we sit today, when you look back, did he really win the battle against corruption?
It's a very important question. And during the campaign, I used to say to people, and no one probably listened, that Akufo-Addo has not been president for 4 years, from 2020 to 2024. Akufo-Addo has been president since 2017. And so if you look at the campaign of 2020, for instance, if you go now and say the campaign for 2020 elections, corruption was not on the agenda in 2020. Economy was not on the agenda in 2020. But that is because the economy that he managed from 2017 until 2020 appeared to be sacrosanct. And so if you look at the issues of the campaign, it was more about President Mahama promising Okada people that he would give them a license to work. It was more about President Mahama telling the Ghanaian people that he would deepen some of the things. He was not critical of the things Akufo-Addo had done up until then. The banking crisis was a big deal, but it wasn't really part of the campaign as is representing corruption or something like that. However, when the COVID frustrations came in, and then we saw presentations in Parliament of a minister who says, I'm not thinking right. The health minister goes to Parliament and they ask him, why did you sign this Sputnik deal and it cost Ghana money? He says, I'm not thinking right. I mean, really. Everyone expected Akufo-Addo to sack him. He didn't. And that began to fester these issues about his condoning corruption and all of that. But that was a time when all peoples of the world were very angry with their governments. Akufo-Addo stood on television and told Ghanaians that I'm trying to help with COVID, but there's going to be repercussions. Our economy is going to crash. And when the economy crashes, we know how to bring it back. But for now, we have to save human beings. As human beings, we all have our personal interests. So we liked that at the time. But we had forgotten that he told us that your economy is going to crash if I make these decisions. And some of his finance advisors I've heard disagreed with him. That you can't have people at home and tell them to pay no water bill, pay no electricity bill, and yet they are not working and you are paying them salary. You can't do that, Mr. President. If you do that, the economy is going to crash. And then you tell them, what should I do? People must save their lives. Now, people come back and say that COVID was not as devastating as we had anticipated for Africa. To some extent, it's true. But we had been brutally frightened by the reports we were getting from Italy. It turned out that some of those reports were AI generated. 100 people have died today, and we see vehicles packing dead bodies from Rome and all of that. Europe was under siege. Everybody was dying. So I remember Akufo-Addo put up an article entitled, What Will an African Finance Minister Do? You know, so the other African countries we compared to, some of our neighbors, did not invest as much in COVID as we did. And we had an election in 2020. And I'm sure that the election ambition influenced the government's decision to pump a lot of money, ostensibly to save lives. It turned out that the lives were okay, were fine, But then the spending had crossed the line. And whilst inflation was running across in Ghana, it appeared that, across in the world, it appeared that Ghana was suffering from it more. So the issues that occurred between 2022-23, which trumpeted Akufo-Addo as one who was condoning corruption, I think we should give it a bit of time to evaluate whether they were real or whether they were perceived. Because in politics, the perception of corruption is probably even more important than the reality. And so let's wait for the reality to settle down. We are already seeing some things being settled. I told my friends in the MPP that if this election was to go Auri for the MPP, one of the critical things would be the Cecilia Dapa matter. And they asked me why. Then, in those days, because I had gone to Cecilia Dapa's house, I published it, and I was convinced that she had been stolen money. But this corruption is perception. And I told them that, look, if Cecilia Dapa is one minister, and it is reported that she has over $1 million in her house, and therefore you have 80 ministers, if I'm campaigning for the NDC, I will say that they have $80 million in their homes, and we'll get it. And President Mahama did say it. He said that when we come, we will go to their homes and collect your money for you. Given the sense of anger of the Ghanaian, which was a justified anger, if you have this story breaking, that a minister has $1 million in her house, she, the minister, is a thief. The president must sack her. All the ministers are thieves. This is what they are doing. That's why we are suffering. So we were told that we are suffering because ministers have stolen money. It's perception of corruption, but it worked, and perception of corruption will always work. So if we want to look at Akufo-Addo's record on corruption, I think we should give it a bit of time and let all of these stories get ventilated. Cecilia Dapa's story is on now. People are wondering, did she really steal their money? Did she not steal their money? What happened? She's still in Ghana. She goes to court. Nobody has arrested her. So all the Cecilia Dapa talk was not true. Then we come and we hear FBI says that Cecilia Dapa has done nothing wrong. And we say, Cecilia Dapa did nothing wrong, really? What happened? Okay, we heard of Hoptel. Hoptel belongs to Bawumia. He's a thief. Every month they take so much money. Okay, new government comes. Hoptel is celebrating anniversary. Who is there? Attorney General of the new government, the one who is to be prosecuting Hoptel. He's dining with them. Sam George, the Minister for Communication, he's dining with them. So was Hoptel really corruption? Let's wait. Now, Hawa Kumsin is holding gun, and Akufo-Addo does not call her to order. 2 years down the line, Interior Minister comes and says, nobody was killed. The person who said he was shot was not even in the convoy. Is that what happened? So as time goes on and the reality dawns, we will be able to see those who have condoned corruption and those who have not. But I'm confident that at the end of the day, Akufo-Addo will stand tall.
I see. Well, let's talk about SML, Ofori-Atta. And because you have just brought perception, corruption, just could be perception. So far, you follow the SML conversation, Ofori-Atta as well. Just yesterday, the special prosecutor sat with KSM, and as well as been talking about Ofori-Atta and the fact that he left the country at a very critical time and said that at the time that the president, his cousin, was still president, regardless, from 1st of January to 6th January. SML, if you look at the contract, the OSP says that there was no genuine need for that contract. Manasseh Zuri, who has been looking into that contract as well, says that there was no genuine need. Is it true? Do you think there was no genuine need?
SML is important, and I'd like to talk about it. But I'd like to bring your attention to something that happened in the news 2 days ago. PDS was broadcast as an Akufo-Addo scandal. It was a group of people who had a contract with ECG to manage some of ECG's resources. It was widely publicized that the PDS company belonged to Akufo-Addo and his relatives, and then they wanted to take ECG for themselves. Government got wind of this information, and that's the first time I hear. They began to even look at who is the PDS person that they are saying that is us. It's not us. We don't know them. So have a look at it. So ECG board decided to look at it, and then they came across an insurance guarantee. And they said, okay, let's investigate this insurance guarantee. They traveled out, the Deputy Attorney General at the time, Godfrey Dame, and the Interior Minister, Bruce Derry, traveled out to look at the PDS situation in Qatar. They found out that the insurance guarantee was a hoax. They came to Ghana and they cancelled PDS. Then they cancelled PDS too. The political propaganda said, it's Akufo-Addo who has cancelled it because the people said they don't want to give him money. All kinds of things were said. Now, yesterday, PDS, unhappy with the termination of their relationship with ECG, filed an arbitration in London. Yesterday, the arbitration came and said nothing. The government did the right thing. But this was a reason that may have cost the government 10 parliamentary seats and 5 percentage points. It turns out that it is nothing. So that is the problem with the winner takes all, first of all, because the politicians in opposition have to say anything and everything they can to win power, because outside power, there's nothing.
I'll come to SML.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that when they traveled out, they saw the insurance was a hoax.
Yes, the insurance guarantee was not real.
Yes.
So it's on that basis that they terminated.
But that formed that was a precondition to getting the contract, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Why did they not see it?
But the PDS relationship had begun with ECG before Akufo-Addo became president. There was a company that was about to do that before Akufo-Addo became president.
Yes, but the contract itself was signed.
Yes, but when he became president, he thought that, well, why not? And we are also hearing that from the Ministry of Health, that the LIMS, whatever they are talking about, was signed by NDC. Akufo-Addo became president, they just continued with it. So, yes, fair enough. You can say that he should have looked at it before, he should have looked at it after. But the general perception that this whole ECG and PDS represented some form of corruption turns out that that represents no form of corruption. On SML, I had been...
You do agree, though, that this PDS conversation still needs a bit of clarity, though it looks as if ECG and the government of Ghana has won at that particular arbitration. It still needs a bit of clarity.
Sure, it does. It's a basic contract of ECG hand over some of your equipment to another company so that they may be more efficient. And then the company is supposed to demonstrate some capacity to be able to do the work. One of the lines of the capacity is to show that they have enough money that if something goes wrong, they will be able to pay for it. So you bring a guarantee, an insurance guarantee. The company submitted one. It's one of the critical points by which the contract should be sacrosanct. And the Attorney General and the Interior Minister go to chase the validity and the veracity of this insurance guarantee. They find out in Qatar that it doesn't work. They come and say that one of the critical points on which your contract should have been confirmed doesn't work. So we terminate. And that's terminated. And then PDS says, we are not happy with the termination. We will sue. They sue and the court says that you have no day in court.
Okay.
Yeah. On SML, I've seen the thing. And last Tuesday, I didn't have enough time on television, but I was going to congratulate Manasseh for the work. But whilst I congratulate him, I want to ask this important question. Why do we have such a great investigative journalist like Manasseh? And all his investigations are against only Ghanaian companies. He never investigates any other company, whether Indian. And there are these people who play such a major role in our economy, whether Indian, Italian, whatever. Galamsey is there. Chinese companies are all over. Manasseh Azuri's investigations is always focused on one Ghanaian company. And that's very dangerous. I mean, if Zoom Lion had not stood his ground against Manasseh, Manasseh would have wanted Zoom Lion's company collapse in 2014. Look at 2014 Zoom Lion. Look at today's Zoom Lion. He is in 21 African countries. And he sends Ghanaians there. You go to his office. At each time, he has about 40 people studying in China. This is the company they wanted to collapse. Are you going to find anything else to develop your country if all you do is every day to find and as soon as SML ended, then they say KGL? Every time they are after a Ghanaian company, what kind of sociology is that? What is the anthropology that animates them so that every day it has to be these Italian Lebanese, they are doing worse things. They never talk about it.
Well, that's one. Another person can take that up.
But I'm saying that it is, if you don't understand, you see Donald Trump, he became president. He called American tech companies around the table. He didn't call British companies. He called American tech companies. The Black Stars were looking for money. They went to a big, huge international telco. They got 100,000 United States. A Ghanaian company, KGL, said, I'll give you more money. Because he's Ghanaian, he's Black Stars. If we say we take KGL out, that is the only small problem that I had, and I published it with the banking crisis. I was very concerned that a bank like Unibank, you can't close it down. Yeah. You can have the Unibank officials treated in courts one way or the other, but you can't bring down the Unibank brand that Dr. Dufo has built. I was very worried about it. I published on Good Evening Ghana, and I had clashes with Esther Esla, what's her name? Awaji, the bank or the deputy governor of the bank. Awaji. Elsie, yes. She was on Joy FM and she was worried about the broadcast that we had done, etc. Very, very nice lady, good friend of mine. But I was really worried that why are we breaking down UT Bank? Why? If Kofi Amwabin has done something wrong, take Kofi Amwabin and deal with it.
I mean, while I appreciate the concern about Manasseh's
about protecting Ghanaian companies.
Particularly this SML.
Yes. So SML, and the other point I was going to make is that in my news reporting career, I have noticed something. a lot of these investigations, I don't know about Manasseh, so but a lot of these investigations is always fueled by the one who didn't win the contract. I get them too. I will never go after a Ghanaian company, but I get them all the time. That, oh, come. Yeah, Charlie, this guy, we went to the procurement because he knew the board chairman, he knows the minister, they gave it to him. Look at his papers. I say, hey, please, I'm not interested. But so you see that a lot of these investigations, the motivation is the one who didn't win the contract. Or the motivation is the foreign company that is cheating Ghana. And it's so sad that these foreign companies who are cheating Ghana, they can hire people to conduct investigations. And
take away Manasseh.
Yeah.
The OSP now has an interest in SML. What about that?
Oh, the OSP is an investigative institution, so he's entitled to have an interest anywhere. But you heard the OSP himself talk about how Manasseh had helped him or something like that. But yeah, as for the OSP, it's an investigative institution. My concern is that if we have to build a country, everyone has a role to play. It's very important. It's not just the president. If we have giant media, they should investigate. Ghanaian companies, they should investigate. Every company, they should investigate. But if you see a particular focus on any Ghanaian company that tries to rise up, oh, they are corrupt, you think that and we always cite Nigeria as an example. The Mike Adenugas and the Dangotes who have made Nigeria great. You can't find some tax that they didn't pay or something. You can always find those things in a company. And if you go to these foreign companies who work in Ghana, there's probably more rot there than you can ever see. When John Mahama was president the first time, there was a particular company that I cannot mention their names. They were into these foods. They did something at Cocoa Board and almost collapsed all the banks. That was the beginning of the banking crisis in 2014. Nobody investigated anything about them. They took the money and they ran away out of Ghana.
We should be angry at you for knowing this and didn't want to investigate it.
Because there were important Ghanaians involved. There were satellite Ghanaian companies involved. There were important Ghanaians involved.
Is that why you didn't investigate?
No, but I want the investigative agencies to deal with Ghanaian companies, but not even to publish it. Once you deal, some people were chased in that story, but it didn't come out. But yeah, some people were fingered by GRA and they went to their office and collected their money. But this pension for SML, they are making 1 billion. I understand that the SML people, I saw their lawyer release a press statement. I understand that they hold a press conference next week. And then they will tell the story. We may come to find out that there was nothing in there.
What do you make of the OSP? Not the person, the office, OSP.
Well, there was always conversations around whether it should be done or how it should be done and all that. But I think Akufo-Addo stood his grounds. I guess that even some of his ministers were not particularly happy with it. But Akufo-Addo stood his ground that he had campaigned on an anti-corruption agenda, and he wanted to demonstrate that he will carry out the anti-corruption agenda. The whole issue about anti-corruption, which is still a question, is that the government of the day does not prosecute its own people because the Attorney General is a member of the government. In the past, there had been conversations that you should decouple the office of the Attorney General, have Minister for Justice, as they have in Britain. They called him the Lord Chancellor, and have the Attorney General, who is different. So that was also there. The MPP put in their manifesto ahead of 2000 that they were going to decouple the office. When the MPP won power in 2000, they didn't decouple the office. I believe the NDC also said something like that, and they didn't do it. So it looked like the decoupling the office was not going to happen. So he thought that he should set up the office of the OSP. It was always, even with the law, particularly tight, because you will find that the OSP has to be nominated by the Attorney General.
Should we keep it or scrap it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Ghanaians should make the decision.
Okay. Since when did you become...
That sounds like you're not a Ghanaian.
Political office, parliamentary or presidential?
Oh, yes. I believe that if you like politics and you are a political reporter, and if you look across the world, quite a few political reporters end up in politics anyway. Because sometimes if you report politics and you're close to the politicians, you begin to see things that have to be done that are not done, and you begin to see things that should be done in one way that are done in another way. If you have a penchant for politics like I do, you might be tempted to get involved at some point. But part of the reason why I have conducted this kind of media over the last 4 years is to unlock and break the ceiling of a journalist not being able to express his opinion about politics in one positive way or one negative way. I think that as we develop in democracy, we must have right-wing and left-wing reporters all over the place. I believe that we do have it, but the environment in Ghana does not allow people to say they are this or they are that. And the vitriol of the modern politics also makes it a certain way. But if you go elsewhere, if you talk about a journalist in England, they ask you, is he right-wing or left-wing?
Will you ever run? Parliamentary or presidential?
Presidential is a big one. I mean, that happens to only one person. But yes, I'm interested in politics if I get an opportunity, yes. But I'm interested in politics. But parliament is not the only way to express yourself in politics.
MPP or NDC, are you?
Oh, I'm right-wing. I cannot, unless the NDC becomes right-wing. I'm right-wing. I think right-wing.
So MPP.
Just a few seconds.
That's not simple. I'm not. If you say MPP, the NDC say we can't talk to you. I'm a right-wing reporter, and NDC people talk to me. The Kwesi Pratt is a left-wing reporter.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a right-wing reporter. Right. So
for some reason, the time just comes to a close quite quickly, unfortunately. But just a few seconds. You've been telling law students, political science students to get this book. When I take out the bibliography, it's nearly still 600 pages of this book. Which part of the book interests you most, and why should people get it?
The part that interests me most is the decisions of the Supreme Court, which you have briefed, which we say that form the backbone of our democracy. And that's why I'm worried if our Supreme Court is looking some way, because the Supreme Court has been really the backbone of this fourth Republican democracy. The decisions that they have made is what has sustained the democracy, and we should keep it like that. So when I see the Chief Justice being removed, I get very worried, because this Supreme Court of Ghana since 1992 is what has sustained our democracy.
Presec is out, NSMQ finals today. Who are you
we're so
for?
disappointed about that. All of them, they mimic Presec, don't they? They
look at that.
They try to look like Presec.
I didn't think you pontificate over the success.
To look like Presec. And who else is there? Infants Film, isn't it?
Yes.
They all try to look like Presec. And, you know, I'm excited that the whole Ghana is talking about, Presec is not there. It takes something away from the NSMQ. We are sorry.
Oh,
Next
dear.
year we'll be there.
I wish I didn't ask this question.
A lawyer friend of mine says, please tell Paul he's well-read, well-researched, and well-spoken. And I like listening to him, especially Edwin Brock. I don't know. He says he should keep it up. Been sitting here. If I keep listening to you guys, I'll be late for work.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Paul Adom, thank you for turning up.
Yes. It's always a pleasure.
There's more to come up here. We have a conversation with the Securities and Exchange Commission boss. You might not want to miss. Please do stay. Welcome back to the AM show. Time for us to bring you a conversation on the what you need to know about time with the Securities and Exchange Commission. And today, we've been joined in the studio by the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, someone who is a former member of Parliament. He's been a former chairman of the Public Account Committee of Parliament, Dr. James Kluche-Aveji. Good morning to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
And welcome.
Thank you.
We miss you in Parliament.
Well...
Do you miss it?
Not really. Not really. Simply because I'm engaged in a new environment.
Okay.
So my attention has now fully been occupied by what I'm doing now.
Okay.
So that's made me to take my mind a little bit off from the work of Parliament.
Okay.
So I have not missed it. Yes, let me say I have not missed it.
Have you been following the Public Account Committee?
I do. Not all the time.
Okay.
If I have some little space, I follow. Or sometimes when I have, in the evening, I watch some of these scripts on, how do you call it, WhatsApp pages, social media. And I watch some of them, yes.
And what do you make of, because you as celebrated chairman, what do you make of what's happening there now?
Well, because I'm involved in somebody there, I don't want to compare.
Okay.
Say that, okay, I did better than her or she did better than me. No, let me leave that one to other people.
Okay. But how has your experience as a former chairman of PAC been valuable to your role now as a Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission?
Valuable in the sense that as a Director General, I'm very mindful and careful about what I do because I have been there, I have reviewed the Auditor General's reports, I've looked at all the infractions in the public financial management setup. So when a request comes to my table, with the experience I had in the past, professionally I'm an accountant, and so some of those things are not new to me, but our experience on reviewing the Auditor General's reports tells me that, hey, this thing you are asking for, this is the process to go. If not done, you end up appearing before the Public Accounts Committee. So at least there is some experiences from my previous work that is aiding me now in what I'm doing at the Director General of the Commission.
But what does the Commission do, really, for those who are who are now getting to know about the Commission?
Yeah, so our Commission, the full name is Securities and Exchange Commission. It's a body established by an Act of Parliament. And the act that established the Commission or this body is the Securities Industry Act of 2016 at 929. Now, these acts purposely established the Commission with an objective to ensure that there is fairness, there is efficiency, and that the development of the capital market in Ghana. That the Commission should ensure that the integrity of the market is protected. Then you, the investor, your interest is also protected. That is the main objective of the Commission. So when we go into detail, we'll see how does the Commission go about ensuring that the integrity of the market is protected, the investor is protected, the market is developed, that through the market, capital, long-term capital is raised for corporate bodies to undertake their production, in a way growing the economy, in a way developing the economy. So basically, the Securities and Exchange Commission is a body established by an Act of Parliament to ensure that the capital market in Ghana is developed in a fair manner, in an efficient manner, in a transparent manner, so that you, the investor, you're protected, and then the integrity of the market is also protected. So that is what we do.
So you formulate the policies that guide the market.
Exactly. One of the objectives also of the Commission is to serve as a body that can provide expertise or intellectual advice to the Minister for Finance in coming up with the capital market policy.
Okay.
The policies that will ensure that the capital market is developed. The Commission will advise the Minister on those policy issues. Then the Minister come up with a policy, or the government come up with a policy for the development of the capital market in the country.
Are you coming up with anyone soon?
We have had sufficient policies. If there have been some changes in this policy, and for now, no. We are not coming up with a new policy immediately. What we are doing now is to ensure that the existing policies work well. If there are need to ensure that the objectives of those policies are achieved, that is a target for which the Commission is now directing or working towards.
Okay.
And one of those areas is what we call it Capital Market Master Plan. Now, this Capital Market Master Plan is a plan for a 10-year period, which started in 2020 up to 2029. Now, the plan is that we ensure that we develop the market. We make investment products available. We develop more products. For you, the investor, who have an option. If you want to invest your money, you have an option. You know, we have the equity markets, then we have the fixed income markets. Then we also have the commodity market. Now, the equity market is where you can walk to any broker dealer that I want to buy shares in this company. Your investment advisor will advise you that if you buy your shares in company A, This is a return or expected return you get at the end of the year based on the past performance of that company. You are investing your money in these shares with long-term vision. You'll be getting your dividend at the end of every year, but once that company is a strong company, is performing well, the share value of that company will be growing.
Okay.
So you are gaining in two folds. Whilst you are getting your dividend based on the profit of the company and the dividend declared, the value of the share is also growing, which you can sell in the future and gain also what we call capital gain.
Okay.
So mostly people who go into the equity market go with the mind with a long-term vision.
Okay.
Probably you are doing it so that when you are of age, you grow. You can depend on the inflow of money coming from that side to take care of yourself during your old age. So that is capital market, equity market. Then we have the fixed income market. Now, the reason why we call this fixed income is that as you're making the investment today, you know the return already in percentage terms. That I'm buying bond. The bond you are buying, if it's a government bond, the government tells you that annually I'm going to pay you 25% as your return on the bond you are buying or your investment. So you know it already. It's a fixed income. It cannot be varied during the term of that bond that you bought. So if it's a 6-year bond, you bought it at 25% interest rates, which is payable maybe every 6 months, because it must be annualized. Every 6 months. You know that every 6 months, you take 25% annualized. So which means that 25%, half of 25% every 6 months. So that in the other 6 months put together will give you the 25% as annual return. So you know from day one. But in the case of the equity, it is not a fixed income. The dividend that you receive is based on the profits of that company. If the company made high profit, your dividend will be high. If the company make low profits, your dividend will be what? Will be low. If the company make no profit, no dividend. So that is how it is. But as I said, people go there with a long-term vision that this company in 10, 15 years' time, the value will grow. So my share value will grow. Sometimes about 500% or even 1,000%. So that is it. If you are buying treasury bills, you know the interest rate you are getting at the end of the period. If it's a 91-day, 182-day, or 365-day, you know already. So it's a fixed income. So these are the two types of markets we have. Then we have a commodity market where you can go, if you have commodities, maize, you have a farmer, you have maize or rice.
Rice, soya.
Soya. You go to the commodity market and then go and put your rice there and say, I have this quantity of rice. Can you give me a receipt that will serve as money that I can even use to go to a bank and take loan? Because the bank knows that you have 1,000 bags of rice, which is stocked with the Ghana commodity market, Ghana Commodity Exchange. And this is the receipt.
Someone can bring you those number of bags.
Yes.
Also, you can help the farmers in the glut that we are experiencing.
Yes, so that is why we are here. We are educating the people.
Okay.
That we have the Ghana Commodity Exchange, where if you have huge sums of your farm produce, you can go and store them. They will give you a receipt. You can use that receipt to go and buy anything you want. You can use that receipt given to you by the Ghana Commodity Exchange to go to a bank and take a loan.
And you get it at the current market value?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
So that me, the bank who is giving you the loan and taking the receipt, I know that if you default in paying I can go for your rice or your maize and sell and make my money.
You have somewhere to keep them?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So not we as Securities and Exchange Commission. There is a Ghana Commodity Exchange. It is there. Just like we have the Ghana Stock Exchange.
Okay.
We have the Ghana Commodity Exchange. And they do that. Our job as a Securities and Exchange Commission is a regulation. We regulate these entities. We make sure that they work in accordance with the law to protect you, the investor. You, the farmer who is going to put your maize there. You don't go tomorrow and say the maize is not there and there's no proof. That is what we do. So our job as a Securities and Exchange Commission, as I said, it is for us to ensure that we grow the capital market. We ensure that it is done in a fair manner, in a transparent manner, in an efficient manner, so that you are protected as an investor. The integrity of the market is also protected. So you, the investor who is going to buy shares in a company A, it is our duty as a Securities and Exchange Commission to ensure that the company A do the right thing so that your investment will not be lost. So basically, that is our job.
Okay. And you come up with something called the Time with SEC.
Yeah, so as one of our flagship program is to go along with education to ensure that the public know the work that we do. The public know the type of investment product that are currently available. The public know that it is not all investment products that are being offered that are genuine. The public will educate the public to know that before you place an investment with any entity, this is what you need to do, A, B, C, D. First of all, you need to find out if that company is a genuine company and is licensed by Securities and Exchange Commission to do the job that they are offering you. You know, with technology, advancement of technology, things are happening that people get offers on their phone. That's, I am an investment company. I have an offer. If you invest 1,000 Ghana cedis, you get 10,000 at the end of the month. You need to find out if that offer is a genuine offer.
Okay.
So we are educating the public. This year we have done two. We have done one, and we are going to do the second one from tomorrow in Akufo-Addo. We did the first one in Ho for the Volta region. That is the Volta region edition. Tomorrow and Friday, we're doing the Eastern region edition in Akufo-Addo, where we invite the public, we invite the students. Students, we want them to start knowing about investments from day one. And because they are young, they are the people who are usually lured by this fake product being offered in the social media.
Yeah.
Now, in the past, when I was in the university, or I think I finished school immediately, there was this Ponzi scheme called Piram and R5, those days.
Yeah.
In fact, if I had money at that time, I would have also made an investment in those places. Those things happen in this country. And the recent one, Men's Gold, all those things happen in this country. Now, because of the advancement of technology, it's becoming worse. People get alerts on their phone all the time, offering them this. So we are going to educate the public to how to identify fraudulent offers, how to identify Ponzi schemes. Those are the things that we're doing. So Time with the SEC, that's Time with the Securities and Exchange Commission, is a flagship program for the Commission where we educate the public on the work of the Securities and Exchange Commission and the products that are available, how do we invest your money, what you need to do before you do the investments, and how to identify Ponzi schemes, how to identify fraudulent offers that we see all the time on social media, or even sometimes happen, they even show it on televisions and things like that.
So if I see one on social media, can I alert you? I'm asking this because yesterday my wife showed me one in which they had used Ibrahim Mahama.
Exactly.
I don't know if you've seen it.
We have seen it. We have even issued a public notice on that, warning the public not to do any business with that.
Okay.
But we have also referred them to the appropriate bodies to do the investigation and get them. There are a lot of that. And we get complaints or information requests every blessed day through our email, where people want to know if this company is a licensed company of the Securities and Exchange Commission. So one of the jobs we do is licensing. So before you can enter the capital market, we have to license you. There's a procedure you go through. We'll clear you. I said, if you want to be a director, we want to see that whether you are a fit and proper person, whether you don't have any criminal records against you. We do all those things before we license you to do business in the capital market. So there will be a request coming that we want to know if this company, let me say company ABCD, are they licensed companies by Securities and Exchange Commission to do the business that they are doing? They will provide them the answers. And that is the best thing to do. Because if you don't do that, if you are doing business with a licensed entity, then know that your investment is safe.
Okay.
If you are doing business with unlicensed, we call them unregulated entities, your investment is at risk. And what you should know, one thing that you should know is that if the offer looks too good, then it's too risky.
Okay. Can we get this email you speak of so that the public can send you complaints?
Yeah, so the email is info@sec.gov.gh.
Okay. So info@sec.gov.gh. Okay.
That's the email.
Okay.
And we get every day a lot of them coming, and we provide answers to them for all this.
Okay. Why must I be, or why should this time with the SEC be of importance to me?
It's of importance to you because one is a learning platform where you learn about capital markets. Very few people know what is capital market. Capital market, as I said, is a place where trading in security takes place. It's not a fiscal space that you go and sit and calling for people to come and buy your security. It's a platform. And you can use your phone to say, I want to buy shares in this company through your what? Broker. Your broker dealer will then advise you that you can buy these shares, and then you give an instruction, buy the share for me. And this, you have an account with the broker dealer. So your account will be debited to pay for the shares, and your share account is what? Is credited. So you have the shares. Or you instruct your broker, buy 91-day treasury bill for me. What is the rate? The rate is X amount of X percentage. Okay, go ahead and buy a 91-day for me, or buy 182-day for me. Your broker will do that one for you. And the broker will only take a commission on what you are getting. So that is how it is done. So it is your interest to come and learn what is the capital market and what are the investment products available for you, so that your excess money that you don't need today, you don't keep it at home where the value will be going down. Because don't forget that once there's inflation, whether the inflation is even 1% or 2% or even 0.5%, with time, the value of your money will erode. It will come down. So you don't keep that money at home, buy an investment with that money, invest the money so that the value will grow. Once the return you are getting is above the inflation rate, you are growing the money. If the return you are getting is at the same as the inflation rate, then the value is not increasing and the value is not reducing as well. So you still maintain your value. So it's good that you come and learn about this. Then also you learn about the offers that are fraudulent. What you need to know or to see that this offer is fraudulent, we'll be teaching all those things at the program. And it is open to everybody. It is free. You come and listen and then educate yourself. So that even if you yourself, you're not the one who will be doing investment, with this knowledge, you can advise your family members. You can advise your parents. You can advise your children against certain investment offers that they see all along on the social media. So it's important that you come and learn.
Which means that an array of issues will be discussed at this particular meeting.
We have a number of issues that will be discussed. I think I can give some of them out. We'll talk about the role of capital market in the development of Ghana. As I said, capital market is where capital is raised for business.
Yeah.
If you have a business and you need capital, you can raise your capital through the capital market by issuing shares. You come to the public, say, this is my company, this is what I want to do. You prepare a prospectus to offer. We'll review the prospectus for you. We'll realize that when we see that what you want to do is genuine, it will bring returns, then we'll allow you to go and offer the share. People will buy in small bits or in lots. And that money, you use it as a capital for your company. So, and it's for long term. So that helps in the development of those companies, that helps in the development of the country. Now, under this current 24-hour economy, existing companies will even have to expand. Okay? If you expand, how do you get additional capital? We can get additional capital through issue of shares through a capital market to support your business, to expand so that you can take advantage of the 24-hour economy. That, in a way, you're producing goods that can be consumed here. That can help in a way to reduce importation if that goods that you're producing here has been previously been imported. Then you can serve as an import substitution in a way of reducing the import bill for government. That will help in strengthening our local currency. Okay? That will help in our balance of trade, and that will help in the growth of the economy. That is it. If you don't want to raise capital through equity, you can raise capital through debts. And that is a bond. You issue a bond, a 10-year bond, a 15-year bond, with which the money, people will buy the bond, the money comes, you use that money to expand your business or to establish your business, and then returns that are coming, profit that are coming, you service the debts.
Any business can do that.
Yeah, of course. Once you bring the business proposal and we will review it, and we will see that this is a good one, we'll give you the opportunity to go and float your shares. The individual Ghanaians will also assess the prospectus, and they realize that no, what you want to do is something that can bring returns. And so if I invest my money with you, my money will not go waste. I'll get my money back and I'll get the return on it. They'll buy the shares. They'll buy the shares. There are a number of companies that are listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange now. I think about 30 companies are listed. What we are also working on now, because we want to develop the market, is to ensure or to make a workable arrangement for SMEs, small and medium enterprises, to also list on the Ghana Stock Exchange. so that they can also get capital to support their business and expand. So that is what we are doing.
And as you say, it's open to everybody, so we can all come there.
Yes, it's everybody's.
What time is the event starting?
The event is starting at 8 o'clock at Church of Pentecost Tabernacle Assembly in Akufo-Addo. Yes, tomorrow. No, on Friday. Today is Wednesday, right?
Today is
Thursday. Yeah, so we are starting today.
Okay.
We are starting today.
Okay.
So from here, I'll go to the office and prepare and leave.
Okay.
We're meeting the minister today. We'll have a radio interview today to just alert the people of the Eastern region, or especially Akufo-Addo,
that you are coming.
So that we are coming, or we are in town, and then Friday, 8 o'clock, the program starts.
Okay. So it's from 8 to what time? So that if I miss 8?
It's from 8 up to 4 or 5. Yes.
Ah, that's a long one.
The long one, yeah.
Will there be companies there to explain what they do? Or?
We have a number of presentations to be done.
Okay.
After the presentation, we'll have a panel discussion where you ask questions based on what have been presented for answers to be provided. We also have spoken word kind of drama to presentation to educate the people.
Okay.
Sometimes what we did in Ho, where we had a small group that did a little drama to educate the people, especially when they see those fraudulent offers on the phone, how even your colleagues or your friend can influence you wrongly to go and invest your money. At the end, you lose the money.
Okay.
Yeah, those things will be done. So it's covered the whole day.
If I want to be part of this, do I have to pay any amount?
You are not paying anything. It's free.
So I should just get up and come to the venue?
Get up and come to the place, take a seat and listen. We'll provide you water. I think at the end, we'll provide you something small to eat, like snack. Yes.
Item 13.
Item 13.
When we're in school.
So because we are keeping you for the whole day, it's not good that we'll keep you there for the whole day without any food.
When we're in school, if you bring an event and you don't add item 13, no.
So we are adding item 13.
Item 13. Or just before we wrap up, your final words to our viewers.
Yeah, so my final words is that the people of Eastern region, we need you tomorrow. And Church of Pentecost Tabernacle Assembly in Akufo-Addo. Come and listen to the presentation that will be done by the staff of the Securities and Exchange Commission to educate the public, educate you, so that you can learn about capital market of Ghana, what you need to do, what are the products available that you can take advantage of, and how do you determine that this offer is fraudulent, and for that matter, you don't put your money anywhere for which you will not get any return or even get the money back. So you are invited. It's free tomorrow.
I'm just hearing that Kwame A+, you know him, he's a member of parliament.
Yes.
He's petitioned for the removal of Adom-Otchere as the chairperson of the Public Account Committee. You've been there before. What do you make of that?
Well, the work of Parliament is governed by, 1, the Constitution of Ghana, and 2, the standing orders. Now, the Constitution of Ghana, Article 103, gave power to Parliament to establish committees that will assist Parliament in realizing or getting its objective achieved. And so one of the committees established under Article 103 is the Public Accounts Committee. And that was covered under the standing orders. Now, the standing orders say that the Public Accounts Committee, the report of the Auditor General shall be referred to the Public Accounts Committee for review and report. Now, the standing order says that the chair of that committee shall not be a member of the party or the parties that form government. So it is only a member of the opposition party or the party that is not in government or the parties that are not in government, the members of those parties that can chair the Public Accounts Committee. And the process we have gone through in the past, or currently they are still going through, is that the various caucuses in Parliament, I mean the majority caucus and minority caucus, make proposal for their members to belong to various committees.
Yeah.
And who will be their
Yes,
head.
yeah.
So this committee is being chaired by the minority. In this case, the MPP. So the MPP put forward Nabina Osei-Asare as the chair for the Public Accounts Committee. So that was part of the report they prepared and sent to Parliament. The report was prepared by the Committee of Selection, and then the report was adopted by the House. So legally, he is the chair of the Public Accounts Committee. If at the time of adoption of that report, this issue did not come, and it's not coming, it's a different thing altogether. But the standing orders make a provision. When I was there, we realized that the reports that were in arrears were about 6 years report in arrears. But we managed to clear all the arrears. So as we speak now, for the report, at least every 1 year, at least 1 year will be in arrears. So as we are now in 2025, they are looking at the report of the 2024. The 2024, the party in government was the New Patriotic Party, where Abina Osei-Asare was the Minister of State, was the Deputy Minister of Finance, and later became Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance. And so the reports all relate to them. Now, whenever we prepare a report as a Public Accounts Committee, and we make reference to the minister, we're referring to the Finance Minister. And the Constitution, the Public Accounts Committee, no, the Public Financial Management Act made provision that the minister shall report to Parliament on how the government has responded to the recommendations of the Public Accounts Committee in the previous year. So he's referring to the minister. That minister is the finance minister. So it means that Abina Osei-Asare, when it was there, they were supposed to work on the reports of the Public Accounts Committee and then bring it to Parliament. So that's by the side. But the standing orders, the new one, there's a new standing orders now, which is being operated now. The new standing order says that when the report of the Auditor General relates to the year where the current chairman, who is Abina Osei-Asare, was in government, or her party was in government, he or she, that chairman, cannot preside over that report.
Hey.
The ranking member, who is the chairman, who is the leader of the current government, in this case, Honorable Samuel Atta-Mills, should preside over that report as the chair. So as we speak now, what should have been done is that when it comes to the discussion on the 2024 report, which is before them now, the committee should be chaired by Atta-Mills, not Abina Osei-Asare. That is what the standing orders say. If that is not being done, then the petition, I'll say, in a way, it's valid. But if that is being done, that Abina Osei-Asare is not presiding over the report, but Atta-Mills is the one presiding, then the right thing is being done.
Okay.
So that will be my response to you.
Okay. But if she's not presiding, can she still be part of the interrogation?
She will still be part of the
interrogation. Okay, but not the chair.
But not the chair. Not the chair. Don't forget, the report of the committee must be prepared by the chair of the committee.
Okay.
So the idea here that if she presides over this report, and she is going to write the report, there are certain things that maybe she might not put in the report for Parliament. That is the reason.
But if Samuel Atamels is the one presiding,
he must prepare the report.
Then there's no case.
Yes.
So if that's the case, then the petition by A+
might not go far.
All right.
I don't know how it is being done.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Venerable Dr. James Kluchaveji, thanks for coming on our show today.
Thank you very much.
He is the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission. And, we've been talking to him about the Time Word SEC, which is coming up tomorrow. Starting today in Akufo-Addo. So meet them there and just understand what SEC does. This is still the AM show. There's more to come here on the show. Please don't go away.
Thank you for staying. You're watching the AM show. So it's Bankers Week. And of course, we've got our friends from the Chartered Institute of Banks to join us this morning. Bankers, I should say. Mr. Robert Jatto, Chief Executive Officer, of course, watching our CEO of the Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, CIB Ghana. And it is Bankers Week, if you didn't know. A lot of people are quite familiar with the Chartered Institute of Bankers. But for those who do not know, tell us or maybe reiterate who they are, your mandate, what you really stand for.
Thank you very much. MFA. Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, our mandate is to promote banking education, but also regulate the practice of the banking profession. And that's a responsibility or a mandate we have under the Chartered Institute of Bankers 2019 Act 991. People ask me, what does that actually mean? It means putting ethics, professionalism, and sustainability high on the agenda of banks and bankers. It also means developing trusted professionals for the financial services sector, and certainly being the talent and thought leadership engine for our financial sector, but also the economy and the country as a whole. And so that's a responsibility and a mandate that we've been very, very passionate about. And we run a series of programs, the Chartered Banker Qualification, which is the main ACIB flagship program. We also have the Executive Leadership Program, which is a Chartered Banker for Executive Leadership for people in key management positions across the financial sector. We have ESG, environmental, social, and governance and sustainability-related programs. And even more importantly, we have a certification in ethics, which is Ethics 2.0, which is coming up very shortly.
So that's what you call Ethics 2.0. Okay. Why is it important for a banker to be chartered? I just want you to take care of my money. Why is it important?
That's a good question, a great question, MFA. Imagine you go to your hospital and there are two people sitting there, both doctors. One is by experience, hasn't got to any school, hasn't been trained, most importantly, doesn't subscribe to a code of conduct. Which of these doctors would you see? And so for us, at Chartered Institute of Bankers, it's important that we put trusted professionals at the heart of the financial system. And that's why it's crucially important that those who work in banking and the broader financial ecosystem have the appropriate qualification, but also continuously improve themselves, which is what we call the CPD, continuing professional development. Okay. And even more importantly, subscribe to the code of conduct of the profession, which is banking. Of course, we all know the challenges we've had in our banking system. If you go back in the last 7 years or so, the banking sector cleaned up the high NPL, sometimes the fraud cases. I think it's crucially important that we put ethics at the heart of what we do. We put competence at the heart of what we do. And of course, there must be conduct, people playing within the rules, because the financial service sector is highly regulated, right? But there must also be consequences when people get it wrong. That way, you can be sure that your money is safe. You can be sure that your money will work as hard as you are working. And
it's good to know that you're rolling out this program soon, Ethic 2.0. Let's talk about the Bankers Week, which I'm excited about. Sometimes you people are so serious in the banks, co with your shoes and your suits and jackets. I didn't think there was a whole week dedicated for a lot of activities. This year, the Bankers Week, tell me the theme, and then we'll discuss the program outline.
Sure. So yes, you're absolutely right. Bankers are extremely busy people. And so the Bankers Week, even though it's called a week, it's a series of activities, programs over a period. But it's concentrated within a week as well in terms of the activities. So this year's theme is really on building future-ready banks, ethical leadership, sustainable finance, and currency stability. And I think that is very much relevant to where we are today, but also the future that we seek. You know, if you think about banking and all the disruptions that we face, as Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, we believe that it's important to put a focus on how do we continue to drive the financial system, but sustaining the business model, the operating model, and the revenue models of banks. How do we do that digitally? How do we do that collaborating with fintechs and others? But even more importantly, how do we ensure the stability of our sovereign currency and identity?
I was just wondering, so this theme, does it really fit in the reality? If you did a reality check of the financial industry or the banking sector in Ghana, but you have just rightly explained it and quite a perfect theme for it. But I also see that there is an annual conference on ethics as well part of the celebration.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So there are a series of activities, and we started a couple of weeks back. One is Sports for Life, where we brought bankers out to exercise. Okay. And we also had some conversations around cancer awareness and well-being and stress management. Just yesterday, we had a webinar on non-interest banking, which is ethical banking, if you like. Okay. Then next week, Tuesday, we have what we call the National Banking and Ethics Conference. And that's where we'll be having conversations around the theme, but also there will be two different panel conversations, one on the practitioners panel, looking at how do we ensure ethical leadership in the banking sector, how do we ensure sustainability and sustainable finance. And that's a big area. If you think about all the galamsey issues we face, the environmental destruction, what role should banks play, and how do we ensure that we continue to develop and maximize profit and purpose today, but also not compromising what the future generation will need.
That's interesting.
And so that conversation will happen. We have some very seasoned panelists, including IFC, Bank of Ghana will be there. And then we have the regulatory panel, which will be how do we continue to ensure the stability and sustainability of the currency, and most importantly, the resilience of the cedi in the midst of all the crypto disruptions that we face. So yeah. I think it will be very exciting. And
crypto conversation will also come up in that.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Let's talk about some bankers that are graduating as well. So if I understand, they've chartered and they're graduating.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm glad to say that over the last 4 or 5 years, we've graduated more than 1,000 chartered bankers, and I call them trusted professionals working across the financial sector, and some work outside of the financial sector, by the way. And so on the 14th of November, in fact, December, I should say, we'll be graduating a number of chartered bankers, people who have gone through the main ACIB, the Chartered Banker Qualification. They've written exams from level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and we'll be celebrating them. So that will happen. Of course, we also have those who have gone through the Executive Leadership Program who will also be graduating.
Okay.
And we take the opportunity to invite all our stakeholders, the families and friends who have supported this newly minted, if you like, chartered bankers to come and celebrate with them.
That's happening on the, let me check the date for you, but I know it's happening in December.
Correct.
Okay, but as well you have a ceremony, Carol's Night, that will count. It's more like a Thanksgiving.
Yes, so we do have the, beyond the graduation, we have what we call the Governor's Day.
Okay.
But before the Governor's Day, we have what we call the Thanksgiving and
It's a busy week for you.
It is really a hectic week.
Yeah.
But again,
I see it says a week, but I see that there are pockets of activities.
Absolutely.
You put all together each day, then it's calculated to 7.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And most importantly, the Governor's Day will be a time where we hear the reflections of the central bank governor, but also his guidelines or guidance for the coming year. And I think that's where we bring all the managing directors and all our stakeholders together. But of course, we also have a financial literacy program, which is currently running. we go to secondary schools. We teach our younger brothers and sisters about ethical leadership, about digital literacy, but also about financial literacy. Because when we did this last 3 years in Ashanti region, and last year we did Volta region and Eastern region, this year we are doing Greater Accra and Central, we discovered very strangely that our younger brothers and sisters are betting, and sometimes they bet with their school fees. So you are sitting here thinking your son is in school learning. Sometimes they are not. So someone has a responsibility, and at Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, we believe that that's one of the responsibilities we have. So we did Accra Academy yesterday. Today we are doing English and Math Room Secondary School. We have Swedru Business School on the 14th or so of November.
You're trying to spread it across the country, would you not?
Yes. Okay. And so we're calling on all our chartered bankers to join us so that we can take financial literacy to our younger brothers and sisters. And it's crucially important that we tackle the secondary schools and maybe lower, because they then take the message to their mothers, to our mothers in the marketplaces. So that's why it's crucially important that we take this. Fortunately, Bank of Ghana is also pushing this agenda, and they're taking the currency conversation along with us in terms of how do you handle that precious currency, because the cost of printing the currency it can be very expensive. So
conversation we should sit down on maybe sometime later again.
Absolutely.
Cost of printing currency. But that's the final words to the CIB members, stakeholders, and everybody watching you this morning.
Sure. To all our students, members, fellows, colleagues, and we are really asking you to participate actively in the various events that are coming up. The Governors' Day, which is happening on the 20th of December, but even more importantly, next week, Tuesday, we have the National Banking and Ethics Conference. We'd like you to join us. That will be part of your CPD requirements, but we extend this to the wider economy and actors within the economy to join us. It will be very exciting, and I look forward to seeing all of you.
You have a website that people can go to and take?
Absolutely. So if you just Google Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, you find all our programs, or the key management, the governance structure, and all the things, exciting things that we've been doing throughout the year.
Thank you so much. Mr. Robert Jatto is Chief Executive Officer of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. And as bankers, we say look out for it. If you have a family or a friend who is a banker, ask them whether they have chartered. And if not, the activity is happening, they should get involved. But thank you so much for joining us. Very much. You as well stay this more. Well, and that's 6th November. It's today. We get to see who gets to win this year's National Science and Maths Quiz. And again, of course, people have made it very possible that you get to watch the National Science and Maths Quiz. And of course, one of our friends, this woman needs no introduction. You've seen her on the screens. You've heard her on radio. Esther Abuajua is Senior Marketing Executive at Virtual Security Africa. It's good to see you. Good to have you back in studio. I see that you love my studio, and I see that you love doing stuff with us. So I'm happy.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. So, I mean, first of all, which secondary school did you attend?
No, go do master senior.
In Moria, and I said,
this year we didn't go far. This year wasn't a year.
I pretend I didn't hear that. It's not like I made any progress anyway.
This year wasn't a year.
Okay. But tell me, tell me a lot more about Virtual Security Africa before we go into why you decided to be part.
All right. So thank you very much. So Virtual Security Africa, as we all know, we are a leading producer and provider of integrated security solution systems, and a comprehensive range of products include CCTV surveillance systems, biometric time and attendance, access control, time and attendance, like I mentioned. We have electric fencing. Beyond that, we have vehicle bone barriers, and our latest addition, the AI smart CCTV camera and the solar-powered CCTV. We have other products as well.
I see why you'd be very interested in science and maths, because they speak the language that you speak. Yeah. Which school are you rooting for today?
Okay, so this year's contest, I was rooting for St. Peter's because my CEO is a proud Pescopa, and Director of Operations is also an APSU. So it was St. Peter's, Augustine's, and my personal favorite, Akufo-Addo School.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a American by association.
By association,
yes.
Right? I think I should be supporting the American.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got my little cousin over there, so
okay.
I think if they win, it will be a plus.
Yes.
But what really excited the company or you, Virtual Security Africa, to be part of this year's NSMQ?
Okay, so the company is very passionate about promoting education, scientific education at that, because we believe in the power that science has in the society. I mean, the impact that it has on technology, where we find ourselves, cybersecurity, medicine, and beyond. And it's a good cause. We are always supporting a good cause. So this is a big platform that, you know, Science and Maths quiz is big. A lot of people are on it watching from the first stage to the finals. So why not partner with multimedia, the biggest platform in the country?
I like it. Inside my ears is sweet for me. I like it. I like it.
to promote our product as well.
And how has it been so far?
Oh, it's been good. It's been good. And this year's competition has been one of the best that I have followed.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Of course. Your money is there. Your treasure is there. Which you follow.
Exactly.
But this season, the festive season is just around the corner. Of course, because today is the final day, I like to think many more people are watching and getting ready. Sure. We'll build up shortly. I'll take them to Cape Coast as well. But tell me, what are some of the offerings?
Okay, so it's raining a lot of discounts and packages at Virtual Security Africa. So we have packages designed for small businesses and homes. So for that, we are giving 30% on all our CCTV cameras, up to 30% on other products as well. And we have also realized that one of our products, which is my personal favorite, the intruder alarm system, it works hand in hand with the CCTV.
Last year, your favorite was the body cam.
Yes. And
this year,
my all-time is the intruder alarm. Last year was body camera. This year is the AI smart CCTV.
Okay.
Every year I change favorite because we keep innovating and bringing in new products. Yes.
Right.
So we are promoting the intruder alarm system, and it's works hand in hand with the CCTV. The CCTV takes footage and then the recordings of your happenings, but the intruder alarm system deters people from intrusion in the first place. So it works hand in hand with the CCTV, and we are giving a 50% discount on that package. So if you purchase the CCTV, getting your 30% discount, we add the intruder alarm system at a 50% discount.
50%?
Yes.
Okay.
For you.
Do you have the dates for when this?
Oh, it's running throughout the year.
Okay, to the end of the year.
Yes, please.
Okay.
And then again, still on the homes, we are giving you a flexible payment plan if you can't pay upfront. And then we have packages for medium and large companies. So for them, we are doing a pre-finance package. So we'll come to your space and do an assessment. This goes for the banking institutions, insurance companies, manufacturing companies, factories. Will come and do an assessment and get the whole costing done for you. You will pay a commitment down payment, and we will spread the rest for up to 12 and 24 months. So that's like a whole year to 2 years for you to finish up paying. And during this time, we are doing maintenance for you, and we are giving 5 years limited warranty for the large and medium companies.
Okay.
And then the small businesses and the homes, we are giving you 2 years limited warranty. We are giving you flexible payment plan, free after sale support, which is lifetime. First 6 months after installation is free. We are giving you 30% discount at the intruder alarm. Also, for the purpose of the NSMQ, we have designed a package for the staff of all the secondary schools.
Okay.
The associations of the the staff associations of the secondary schools come to us. Let us give you the package. I mean, for your homes, the teachers, we want to protect them, protect the students as well.
That's nice.
So yes, for that, we are giving you, I mean, the whole system installed, give you 3 to 6 months to do the payment. And again, for the secondary schools itself, we are sending a message to these old student associations. We are cheering the students up. We are engaging in NSMQ. We are giving them the morale and all that. We are also calling all these associations as part of their legacy projects that they are doing in their schools. They should come to Virtual Security Africa. We will sit down with them, get these CCTV and other products installed in the school for them. We'll give them a very long time to do the payment.
A very long time.
Very long time.
A very, very, very long time. You should find Esther when you go to Virtual Security Africa. Amazing lady. So you say you are rooting for OWAS?
Oh, yes. So Akufo-Addo School.
We are sure saying in your personal.
Oh, it's not personal. It's because of this boy, Stephen. I just like how intelligent the boy is.
Okay.
He was on 2023, on 2024, and he's on this year.
Quite a start.
For that stress he is going through, Pukuwari School should win.
Okay. Yes. I'll come along with you. The other two schools, too much. Thank you so much. And so where are you located finally?
Okay, so we are in Accra, we are in Kumasi, and we are in Takoradi. Accra, we are at Jowlu, opposite UBA, first floor, Nana Depa Plaza. Kumasi, we are Santasi TUC Junction. We are very close to Melcom. Takoradi, we are at Georgina Bascofi Avenue. We are very close to the Calcare building. And you can find us on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, at Virtual Security Africa. And our website, virtualsecurityafrica.com. That's www.virtualsecurityafrica.com.
Okay.
You can call us on 055-874-0764. 055-874-0764.
Thank you so much, Esther. Always a pleasure when you join us in studio. Do you have something else to say that I didn't ask you?
Oh, okay. So at Virtual Security Africa, we say one thing will beat the advertised price of any electronic security product of comparable quality. And again, we are supporting all the schools. I mean, for the company, we are rooting for everybody. May the best person win.
Support of Pukuwari. Let's end it there. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, Esther. But today as well is the birthday of Gifty Antad, front desk executive. Happy birthday to you, Gifty. I know that you're watching me right now at the front desk. This woman is a real gatekeeper. If you don't have your card and you don't smile, she will open the door for you. I'm just telling you, so make sure that you're always wearing a smile. But today, it's a free entry for all of you. But Gifty, we love you so much. I pray that the Lord will bless you. Happy birthday, Gifty Antad. She's front desk executive. But as well, let me remind you that the AM show is sponsored by Kinoga Company Limited and Syntex Tank. Ghana, let's talk water tanks. Do you know the secrets to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right. The tortoise tank, Syntex tank, is the champion of water tanks. It is strong and durable and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. Rain or shine, Syntex tank has your back. So my people, go outside, check your tank, and if it doesn't have a tortoise on it, it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. You can as well call them 0244-335-168 to buy now or find one of their 400 agents nationwide. You can also shop online, syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, strong, tough. Let's bring you some good news from Compute Ghana. Ghana, are you ready? The wait is over. The Compute Ghana Cashback Sales Festival is back, and this time is bigger, better, and way more rewarding. From October that just ended all through to December, shop your favorite brands: Samsung, LG, TCL, HP, Lenovo, Dell, Techno, Infinix, and more as any Compute Ghana showroom nationwide. Enjoy instant discounts, like real instant discounts, sweet cashback deals, and surprise gifts with every purchase. And that's not all. Your invoice automatically enters you into 3 massive raffles where you could win TVs, laptops, phones, cash prizes, and yes, the ultimate prize, a brand new SUV. And Friday, the fun goes on. That's every Friday. The fun goes to the next level with live exhibitions, FIFA gaming battles, free health checks, and loads of excitement. It's not just shopping, it's a whole festival vibe. So what are you waiting for? Bring the family, bring your friends, and let's make every Friday at Compute Ghana unforgettable. Shop, save, win big. You can also visit Compute Ghana online or Compute Ghana, shop online, www.computeghana. Call them 0302-752020, or you can also WhatsApp 02443-143-143 for details. A reminder that the promo is in partnership with NLA under the Caritas Lottery platform. It's joy, rewards, and pure celebration all season long. Only at Compute Ghana Cashback Sales Festival. Okay, we're taking you straight to Cape Coast. Today is the 6th of November finals of the NSMQ. We'll see who is who today, but a quick one. Time Herbal Mixture is suitable for the treatment of 1, malaria fever, loss of appetite, general body pains, and again, a thyme herbal mixture and capsule is also suitable for the treatment of rashes on the private parts, difficulty in urinating, immune system support, general well-being, low performance during intercourse. Both products are suitable for use by individuals or all genders. For bulk purchase, kindly contact Herbal, all of them at 0244. So the 4 is 4, okay? So 024 441 7669, 024 441 7669 for bulk purchase for Time Herbal products. We'll take